Hello and welcome to another episode of The Grindbin. I'm Mike Wood.
I'm Chris Mann.
I'm Chris Hughes.
I'm Bobby Trippett.
And I'm Randy Sylvie.
And today we're going to be talking about 1984's The Evil That Men Do. Bobby, grab that dick!
Hey, Bobby, I got the money.
Yeah, I made the team. But you're a hooker.
Get that goddamn thing out of your mouth.
Spooky got no real poetry.
Hello, pizza man.
We're gonna play a little game, baby.
I just love fun and games. Get a little girl all hot and horny.
This is Los Angeles.
You could have redeemed it once in a while. And maybe Daddy would have had to kill himself because he couldn't get it up anymore.
What a shame.
Come on, just step on the gas before we get creepy. And more.
So we got a full house today. 5 Grindbin guests.
What the fuck were you
Holy
thinking?
shit.
You're counting yourself as a guest?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would absolutely.
It's just, like I say, the Grindbin is for sale. At any moment, somebody could swoop in.
We could all be replaced.
Yeah, buy this show, and it would be great. We'd all live high on the hog, or at least I would, because I'll be running away with that money, and I'll be living on Bronson Island, making my new dolphin friend. Before we get into it, guys, let's take a listen to the trailer today. Yes, that's right. We are doing a Charles Bronson movie today, so let's get into it.
When the system of justice doesn't work, Bronson does. When the courts can't do what they must, Bronson will. Bronson fighting all the evil that men do.
Torture as a political instrument has become a subtle and sophisticated specialty.
When the most savage murderer cannot be caught or stopped, there is only one man to turn to.
You don't seem like the kind of man that would commission somebody's death.
I'm not, but the doctor stands outside the moral laws of civilized people.
His kidneys and spleen were crushed. His teeth were completely broken.
When evil becomes above the law, the only law left belongs to Bronson.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to rattle his cage.
In the execution of justice, there is no executioner like him.
Go towards him! Towards him!
In the name of revenge, there is just one name. Bronson, fighting all the evil that men do.
You're right, Hughes. They did show, during that trailer, you were saying that it basically showed every scene from the movie in there.
Everything. I don't think they missed a single part.
Now, Randall, you didn't see the trailer with us. They kept flashing the words Bronson on screen in big, giant red letters over and over and over again.
Oh yeah, I did watch the trailer earlier, and that's really what sold me on this movie. Bronson.
I would say that the trailer is a little bit more exciting than the movie, though.
Yeah.
Marginally, yeah.
Although this movie certainly has its interesting moments. I'll say that.
It's charm.
Hughes, you were telling me earlier, though, that you were... do you want to say what you told me?
No, I absolutely do not want to talk about. No, it's fine. I said that this movie, compared to the other Bronson movies you guys have covered, is a lot more tame and less racist.
Well, I'll give less racist.
Definitely less racist. But Hughes sends me... He's like, I want a death wish. What I got was Bronson Mexican Vacation. Which... And I kept pointing out certain scenes to you in the movie. I'm like, how is that not crazy enough, Hughes?
Because he didn't use a bazooka to blow up a guy in his apartment that held a gun on him.
Well, that's only Death Wish 3. But I'll tell you, from seeing all the Death Wishes, this movie, it stacks up there with them in terms of craziness.
I felt it did, for sure.
Yeah. Randall, have you ever seen a Charles Bronson movie before?
I've seen some random Death Wish movie. I'm not even sure which one, and bits and pieces. So not anything to where I can point to this movie and say I've seen it. So that's also part of the reason I wanted to watch this, because I need to up my Bronson game.
Wow. Yeah, Bronson, he's like a fine wine. At the age of 60 is when he started to make those movies that everybody remembers him by.
He hit his stride 60 years in.
He was 62 when he made this movie, apparently.
Wow.
Yeah. So just the perfect Bronson age.
He looks at least 61 of it.
So when he did like the other ones, did he do his own racial slurs, or did he have like a stunt racist? Do all of his moves, you know?
Yeah, Hughes was also complaining that he was too nice to the people of Mexico. He's like, I hated how he would go up to people and just be like, "Oh, thank you very much, sir."
Santiago, thank you. Thank you, my friend. Let's hang out a little more.
He's retired. He's on, he's, like you said, he's on vacation. Yeah. I'm relaxed on vacation. I say please, thank you, blow me,
Totally. I mean, this is Bronson on island time.
Yeah, it's Island Bronson. Bronson Island.
It's Bronson without socks.
Well, when we get into it, though, you guys are going to be very interested to hear about the actual shooting of this movie, because Bronson, he may have been less interested than you were.
Please tell me it was all filmed at Epcot.
Oh, just wait. So I'd say, first of all, this is the one Bronson movie in the 1980s that was not a Cannon picture. This had nothing to do with the Cannon Group.
What gives?
This is the only movie that was released by TriStar Pictures that has Bronson in it. And there's a reason for that.
So I felt like, when you go to YouTube and it's like free movie, full streaming, and it's like obviously fake because in the movie company that made it, they have like that as a screenshot as a studio. I'm like, no way, TriStar did this. No, really?
Yeah, no.
I'm like,
it's a TriStar
wow.
movie, but they actually didn't produce it. They bought it, and we're going to get into the very interesting reason why Cannon Group would not make this movie.
Yeah,
and it definitely, you got to check out that Electric Boogaloo documentary because it goes right along with exactly how Cannon Group does business. So before we get into it, I'll give it a little bit of trivia. It was originally going to be produced by Cannon Pictures, for which Charles Bronson made many of the films in the 1980s that he was in, but financing fell through is what they say. However, we have a little bit of an alternate story about that from one of the producers that we'll get to. But the production studio that made all of Bronson's other movies, as well as the director he worked with, still made this movie. The film was supposed to be made before 10 to Midnight, but the producer and Cannon Films decided to make 10 to Midnight instead. And the guy who produced this movie still produced 10 to Midnight and all the other Bronson movies. The producer has said this of why the movie wasn't made. Menahem Golan, wanted to do Charlie's next picture, and the one that we were going to do next was The Evil That Men Do. We were going off to Cannes to pre-sell foreign territories. I explained to Menahem that the rights to the book and the cost of the screenplay was $200,000. Menahem said, "Well, as a producer, that's your contribution." I said, "Well, that's very nice, but I put up a third, Charlie put up a third, and the director J. Lee Thompson put up a third. We must certainly reimburse them, if not me." He said, "Oh, I can't do that." And Menahem and I, he says, Menahem and I liked each other, but he didn't want to back down. It became a matter of principle. We were leaving the next day for Cannes, and he said, "I'll tell you what, we'll go to Cannes anyway. We'll pre-sell the next Bronson picture. When we come back in 2 weeks, we'll find another story, and we will not make The Evil That Men Do." And that's how 10 to Midnight was made.
Wow.
Because he didn't want to spend $200,000.
The haggle that men do.
So
was that a wise choice?
No, actually it wasn't, because I'm going to get into this movie was actually very successful, and it was, of course, the one not made by Cannon.
Naturally.
But according to an announcement in the October 12th, 1983 edition of the Show Business Trade, the Hollywood Reporter, the worldwide distribution rights to this film, including video, theatrical, and cable television, were acquired from ITC Entertainment by TriStar Pictures.
Oh.
So they bought the movie after it was made. So they went ahead because they had already spent the $200,000 to get the story and the screenplay. They're like, well, we got to make the movie, right?
Right.
So they did. Now, the movie was released on the 23rd of September, 1984. It was released theatrically between 10 to Midnight and Death Wish 3. So 10 to Midnight still came out before this movie. And the entire movie was filmed on location in Mexico. No sound stages, but was at a movie studio down there.
Cool.
With a budget of $4 million.
That's it?
How much do you think it made?
Oh, you said it was a big hit.
Okay, this is the third highest grossing Charles Bronson movie during the 80s. After Death Wish 2 and Death Wish 3. So what is everybody's guess
We
for the money?
gonna Price is Right this
I'm
thing?
gonna
Yeah,
say
let's Price is
8
Right
million.
it.
I'm gonna say 8 million.
You're gonna go 8. Hughes, what do you think?
16.
16. $1, Bob.
$1. Oh, Randall, what's your guess? He's already done $1.
I'm gonna go. You said it was made for $4 million.
$4 million. Third highest grossing Bronson movie.
Okay, I'm gonna say 10 million.
Randall, you are there. It's
Look at that.
13 million. So this was a success. That's just the U.S., by the way. I don't even have foreign numbers. So this movie did well, yet nobody remembers it. This is like the lost Bronson movie.
When you told me about it, I was like, I don't. Are you sure that's a Bronson movie?
Yeah, well, there's one reason I picked this movie, and that's because of one scene. Which I cannot.
Yeah.
One rigid reason.
It's quite gripping.
It piqued my interest, and I was like, I think we're going to have to do this one. Even if the movie sucks, at least we'll have one scene that we can talk about. So here, before we get into the cast and crew, guys, I wrote down one review of this movie from IMDb. It is a bad review.
What?
It is from Mr. Six, 1 out of 10. The title, The Warmed-Over Death Wish Scripts That Men Film.
Clever.
It's hard to believe that there are some people out there in the world that actually think this is a worthy Charles Bronson vehicle. Bronson is a good actor that can do more than tote a gun and knock off bad guys. He was quietly moving in the TV movie Yes, Virginia, There Is a Santa Claus.
Oh, boy.
And showed a lot of class and style in the Sean Penn-directed The Indian Runner. In The Evil That Men Do, however, Bronson again plays a character that sees injustice and sets it right with fists, knives, and of course guns. There's nothing here you haven't seen in the last 5 Death Wish flicks. Wait.
Disagree.
I take that back.
Okay.
This has to be the most sadistic, repellently violent film Bronson has ever had the disservice of being in. Not just repellent in the scenes of torture or the descriptions of torture, but in the fact that these scenes were put in a film just to sell tickets. And Jose Ferrer? What in the blue blazes is he doing here? I mean, he won an Oscar, for crying out loud. Okay, sorry about that outburst. Let me just say that The Evil That Men Do has to be one of the worst movies I had ever seen that was based on a book. Yeah, that's right. I wonder if it was written with Bronson in mind. No stars. Watch Death Wish instead. At least it, in capital letters, was topical. And I write, how was Death Wish topical?
Like, what happened to you, Mr. Six?
Is this a guy who was like, yeah, Bernard Goetz was right. Shoot them all! Shoot them all!
Did he have a bad run-in with Jeff Goldblum?
Yeah, like, what the hell does he mean topical? Like, I can't imagine somebody walking out of the theater, like, out of Death Wish and be like, yep, that's how you clean up New York right there.
I can think of a few people.
So let's get into the crew, guys. Grindbin All-Star,
Yes.
director J. Lee Thompson. He's from our Kinjite episode, and he most famously directed Cape Fear and the Guns of the Navarone. He's a real director. However,
Counselor.
he made 9 movies with Charles Bronson, and this is the 5th of 9 films. The others were The White Buffalo, St. Ives, Cabo Blanco, 10 to Midnight, Murphy's Law, Death Wish 4, Messenger of Death, and Kinjite.
Wow.
The producer, Pancho Coner. I just wanted to mention that his only credits are for producing all of the Bronson movies with J. Lee Thompson. But do you know what else he produces? Now, this is an odd change of course for him. So he goes from making probably the most violent, deplorable movies of all time.
To Tyler Perry movies.
No, to the children's book Madeline.
Oh, no.
All right.
He went from Bronson to Madeline. He's done the TV show, the movies, the TV movies, everything. He's all responsible for that. So, do you think at any point during the Madeline movie, they're like, from the man who brought you
Messenger of Death?
Then we get to the writer. 3 writers, of course.
Yeah.
1 uncredited. But the first one is R. Lance Hill. Now, you won't see that name in the movie because he's credited as David Lee Henry. But R. Lance Hill wrote the book that this movie is based on, and he also wrote the screenplay. But he has written a few other movies that you might like, one specifically. 1986, he wrote 8 Million Ways to Die. 1989, he wrote the script for Roadhouse.
All right.
Oh, that is a movie.
And then 1991, the last script he wrote, Out for Justice, with Steven Seagal. One of the other writers... do you have something to say?
I have a pair of grandparents who loved this guy. He's doing Charles Bronson and Steven Seagal.
And I mean, I'm sure everybody here has seen Roadhouse.
Of course.
Well, yeah.
Oh my God, what a classic!
Perfect movie. There's nothing wrong with that movie.
Flawless.
Yeah, I like when he rips that guy's throat out with his bare hands.
I like when his friend dies on the bar.
I like how he, the first scene that Swayze comes in and he's telling everybody how the bar is going to work.
Yeah.
And he's dressed in, like, the lightest clothing possible. Like, he looks like he's in a pillowcase, you know? Like, he's wearing silk, like almost sheer silk clothing.
Yeah.
For ease of movement.
Yeah, he's a real comfortable man. What are the others?
Welcome back to Roadhouse, minute by minute.
Rest in peace, man.
I would love to do Roadhouse on this show, but
Yeah,
I don't know if it will
doesn't fit. It's not going to fit.
all.
So here we go. One of the writers, John Crowther, he wrote 1981, Kill and Kill Again. 1984, he has the story credit for Chuck Norris's Missing in Action. 1986, Hands of Steel, and 1989, Damned River. Now, there's an uncredited writer, Fred Weiler, who just wrote a ton of TV, including episodes of My Two Dads, Sister Sister, and Walker, Texas Ranger. Mm-hmm. For some reason, this is the only movie he ever wrote, and he was uncredited for it. So I don't know if maybe they had him do Punch Up. I have no idea.
Put his toe in that water and decided it wasn't for him.
Let's get into the cast. We don't need to go into Charles Bronson. He's a Grindbin All-Star. He will be a perennial Grindbin All-Star because this will not be the last Bronson movie on this podcast. But you can hear all about his background in Kinjite. He was 62 when this movie was made. I do have a little bit of trivia about him. Charles Bronson originally turned down the role in this movie.
No.
What?
No, he didn't want to do it. So, he had his contract stipulate that he was required to work a minimum of 8 hours a day.
A minimum.
Now, why? Because according to one of the screenwriters, Charles Bronson brought his family with him to Mexico, and he refused to work more than 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
So immediately at 8 hours, he would clock himself out and just walk off set for the day and be like, I'm done.
Like mid-scene?
Yeah. He'd be like, oh, not a second over.
Told you he was on vacation.
That's
I told
amazing.
you.
Well, so he's like literally like mid-sentence, mid-word, and then he just walks silently back to his...
Yeah, his watch just goes up and he goes, yep, all right.
Just turns to his pet fish and says, see you tomorrow.
Yeah, do you think somebody was like, Mr. Bronson? And then you can't even hear him anymore. He's gone. What is it? Chris needs to go down?
No, on me, on you too.
So that's why they had it in his contract that he had to be there 8 hours a day, because if he wasn't, he would probably be there even less.
Yeah. He'd wander away at like 6.
So is that a like union thing? Like he gets a lunch and everything too?
Oh,
like
no.
lunch?
A regular shooting day for a film is 12 hours.
Well, yeah, just so for people that know or don't know, because everyone's used to like, oh, you get a lunch and 2 breaks at 8 hours, but so people know it's like a straight run.
It's like, I'll shoot this guy, but then I gotta take my 10.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I can just imagine in the middle of a shooting scene and he just drops the shotgun and just walks off screen. Mr. Bronson, we're still rolling. Nope. Going home to my wife.
Mid-chase is like, pull the car over.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Okay, as I put her name, she actually had a name, Rihanna.
Yeah.
I just put her in my notes as fake wife, Teresa Saldana. I only wrote 1 credit, lots of TV, 50 credits total, some movies, but probably her most famous role besides this movie is 1980. She was in Raging Bull, and I'm pretty sure she played the character of Joe Pesci's wife in that movie, because that's the only...
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She passed away last year, unfortunately. She was in her 60s. Joseph Maher, who plays Moloch or the Doctor. 70 credits. Character actor in a lot of things. He was from Ireland. 1952, Guiding Light. 1978, Heaven Can Wait. Now, I wrote down a description of this movie. And Hughes, I have a feeling you're going to love this. 1981, Going Ape! With an exclamation point. Now, it's a movie that stars Tony Danza.
Perfect.
Wow. And it sounds horrible.
I'm listening.
Here you go. When his father, who owned a circus, dies, Foster inherits $5 million and 3 orangutans. However, there's a condition connected to the money. If he gives away the orangutans, or just one gets sick or dies during the next 3 years, the Zoological Society will get all the money. So he not only has to deal with 3 apes and an annoyed girlfriend, but also Laszlo, a kooky new roommate who came from the circus to help with the apes. A greedy Zoological Society's president, 3 bumbling henchmen, and a cranky landlord.
What?
I cannot wait for the remake starring Adam Sandler.
Let's see. Place order. Should I set the quantity to 4?
Yeah, so
okay,
look forward in the near future for Going Ape on the Grindbin. That will definitely be a blind watch.
The Grindbin goes ape.
I'll be on tour. Enjoy.
What do you think?
Doesn't matter when we do it. You'll be on tour.
He was also in 1988's Funny Farm, which I read a surprisingly not funny movie in my own opinion. I turned that one on. I'm like, oh, is this a comedy? Or 1992, he was in Sister Act. 1994, The Shadow. And
Awesome.
And 1999, The Out-of-Towners. That was his last credit because he
gosh.
passed away in 1998. So he went out with The Out-of-Towners as his last thing.
He did get to meet Billy Zane, though.
That's really all that matters.
That's all that matters.
No, that you're thinking of the wrong one. That's The Phantom.
Oh, God.
The Shadow is the Alec Baldwin one. That came out the same year as The Phantom.
It was a rough year for comic
when
book
they were
movies.
like, let's make 2 movies this same year about 1930s radio shows that nobody can give a fuck
It's going to appeal to like 3 old dudes.
Yeah. And the last person I'm going to mention is, you heard it before, Jose Ferrer.
Yep.
Oscar winner and father of Miguel Ferrer is in this movie. I have no idea why. Apparently it paid well and he could take a vacation to Mexico. He was also in Dune the same year this came out, so it wasn't like he was hurting for roles. Okay, guys, 2...
Can I add one?
Sure.
John Glover's in this movie as the character Briggs.
Yes.
Who many people may know as playing Lionel Luthor for, I believe, 27 years on Smallville. And also
right.
playing the doctor that creates Bane in Batman and Robin.
So 2 more pieces of trivia before we get into it, guys. The version released in the UK was cut by 52 seconds because the British Board of Film Classification did not like that electricity scene that this movie starts out with.
So that was the 52 seconds they
yeah,
cut?
it was very heavily edited. And they also edited out cuts from the opening fight in the bar. So they got rid of some of that. However, they were restored in 2007 when the DVD came out. While filming in... Okay, this is the last one. This is insane if this is true. Now, this is from IMDb trivia, so you know it's certainly not verifiable. While filming in Mexico, Charles Bronson and his wife Jill Ireland took a young orphan under their wings and made sure he was fed and taken care of every day they were there. The boy got his choice of food from the catering on the film and was allowed to eat before any of the crew got their chance.
100% true.
I could see that happening.
I choose to believe this.
Now, do you think when the movie was over, Bronson just walked over, he's like, all right, see ya.
He's about to hand a plate of food to this orphan kid, and he looks at his watch and just drops the plate and walks away.
8 o'clock, 8 hours on the dot, yeah.
Poor food hits the dirt, the kid just starts crying.
He's like, I'm sorry, kid, we're wrapped.
And that's where Haley Joel Osment came from.
Yeah, it never says what happened to this kid after.
They just left him on the street. Gave him a box of chiclets and said, go.
They left him in like an empty set. All the C-stands still hanging around.
Do you think Bronson was like, I'm going to load the car, kid, and then you can get in? And then you just see this dust cloud go up.
I'll be right back.
It's a dummy with a fire hose wrapped around it, just sitting next to it.
So we get into the movie, guys. We start with a black and white shot of Bronson throwing a knife, and a typewriter sound comes up, and it just says, Charles Bronson.
I felt like I was playing Carmen Sandiego, and this is the villain we were trying to find.
The evil that men do.
Murder, She Wrote. This is how Murder, She Wrote enters.
Oh.
That's
I wish Angela Lansbury was in this movie. She would be more age appropriate.
I love that they carried this whole typing thing
like
the entire
in place
movie.
of Bronson?
No,
Like all of the scenes with Angela Lansbury?
Just her grabbing a dick.
Yeah, just her lifting a man like a briefcase.
Oh my God, could you imagine if she was in that bar scene? Oh, so we start the movie after this typewriter intro to weird sounds, lights, hooded figures, and it says Suriname, South America. And then we're in some sort of sanitarium.
That's definitely what it felt like.
Yeah, and there's a hooded figure walking around. He's the only one wearing a hood for some reason. And he's giving a speech to these military guys about torture and psychology. He does say this thing where he goes, something about how the hood separates the torturer from the torturee psychologically. But then he just takes it off and he goes, but it's not really necessary.
I'm just fucking with you.
It's like, so, okay. He'll never put that hood back on.
Up to that point, though, I was like, this is the weirdest Space Ghost adaptation I've ever seen.
And so then we see at the same time this guy sneaking under a car and like planning a bomb. So apparently they're going to try and kill somebody. I guess we think it's the doctor, but at this point you're confused as like, what's going on? Next thing we see is a man stripped down in some sort of sex swing.
His balls hanging with probes attached to them.
Yeah, apparently he's written bad articles about the doctor, which...
Not even that they were bad, that they just overstated one single fact.
We'll see how it is the next 5 years in this country, Hughes. We might be going down this road.
This guy's fake news. Put some electrodes on his testicles.
That fake New York Times editor, you'll see.
Strip him.
Yeah, there's a great, like, they went through this, like, if you want to demoralize women, have them take off their own clothes, but if you want to demoralize a man, just strip them.
With a man, it's opposite.
Yeah.
No, I would find Trump more palatable if he was wearing that hood.
Have you ever heard that? And I mean, this is true, actually. I'm not making this up. You can look this up. Apparently, Trump's favorite movie is Bloodsport.
Oh.
Obviously.
And apparently, he doesn't like the story part of it. And he apparently has a copy of Bloodsport that he watches all the time where somebody has edited all of the talking out of it and just left the fight scenes.
It's just a loop of that black dude getting his back broken.
Yeah, so I realized that's like me as a 5-year-old watching Home Alone. Like, I would just fast forward to the traps part and be like, what a great movie. But I'm not a 70-year-old man.
That's also me as a 33-year-old.
So apparently that's his favorite movie. So do you think Trump might send a clip of this over to the New York Times and be like, keep writing them articles,
It's either that or the Kumite. You're getting one of them. How did they find this out? Like, what interview did he give where he was like, Bloodsport? He's talked about this?
He said it all the time. They said, what's your favorite movie? And he said, I love Bloodsport. It's a wonderful movie. It has a great story. I was like, what story are you?
A story he's not watching?
Yeah. He has a copy on Air Force One. This is not a joke.
There's
this
a copy
all,
oh my God, yes.
This is all verifiable.
I'm uncomfortable with the fact that you're making me like him a little more.
There's only 2 DVDs on Air Force One. Bloodsport.
What's the other one?
I don't know. Hughes, you started this joke. Where's it going?
I figured somebody would jump in with something. Jumanji. I don't know.
That's not how joke telling works, Hughes. How big was it? I don't know.
That's my joke.
So,
8 hours, you're out of here.
We're going to have to be on our feet at any moment. You're going to drop half a punchline and we have to finish it for you?
Please save me.
So we do see, Hughes, as you said, they attach electrodes to this man's genitals. And I read, at this point, we're definitely watching a Bronson movie. Because
this scene looks like your bachelor party, from what I recall.
when you guys stuck me in that chair and you're like, it only hurt a little bit, Mike.
Bite your wallet, pal.
It's a Bronson movie if somebody's genitals are hurt within the first 3 minutes. Typically, that's what you know. If you ever like accidentally randomly flip on a channel and somebody's genitals are getting messed with, or some man's being sodomized in a hotel room, you got a 90% chance it's a Bronson movie.
Opening credits have just finished.
Yeah,
you're good.
Yeah, we haven't even finished the opening credits and a man's getting electrocuted on the testicles.
Yeah,
so.
We're still clacking on the typewriter right now. We're hanging out with Jessica Fletcher still.
And then so we see, okay, so they're done, right? That guy's like dead.
He dies of his injury.
Yeah, they electrocute him with that car battery to death, apparently. And then the doctor, this sister of his, and the bodyguard.
Claire would be the sister.
Okay, I just call her sister.
Okay.
And his bodyguard, I just call bodyguard. They leave the place because the guy's dead now, but they get in a different car than that bomb car, so it's like, uh-oh.
The old switcheroo. Do you think that guy that gets in that car by himself is like, oh, finally, my own car to myself. It's going to be a good night. You know?
He's like, it's a good day today. I get to drive the doctor's car.
Yeah.
And then, what was the bomb guy's deal? He was still under the car.
Yeah.
I know. It's like, how long is he taking? Obviously, it was working at this point.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like the regular bomb guy called in sick that day. And he's like, I don't even know how this shit works. What do
I do like, though, how it did that freeze frame on his face before it blew up.
They zoomed in.
And it was a Ken Burns effect. For like 3 seconds. I swear. I shit you not.
Ken Burns, the evil that meant it. So then we go to Bronson Island, which is definitely a place I want to visit.
Absolutely.
Where we wake up every morning, we can shower in rainwater. And, okay, does anybody... Who wants to jump in and tell me what makes Bronson Island so unique? Man, why don't you
There
tell
was
us?
a friendly porpoise. Let me rephrase that. A noble porpoise. That is amazing vision that I've seen when we watched the movie. It's got vision like, you came out of a car wash.
Yeah. I did not expect in the first 5 minutes of this movie we were going to get dolphin POV.
Yeah.
I did not expect that. But we see from a dolphin's point of view, Charles Bronson, like you're saying, all underwater waving at us. And he goes, "Hey, Quasimodo, hey."
Good morning, Quasimodo.
Do you think Bronson brought that dolphin himself? And that wasn't in the script?
This seems like something he would insist on.
Yeah.
I think I should have a dolphin friend.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there's no friends on the island.
He's got a big wriggling bag with water leaking out of it. Gotta put this somewhere.
I'm afraid to ask this, guys, but do you think Bronson at any points fucked that dolphin?
Whoa.
I think it was actually the orphan in a dolphin suit.
Oh, man.
Well, he's lonely.
Yeah.
And we know, Bobby, Bronson movies, he's going to get it in somebody.
It's true.
It's always the long con with Bronson. He's always going for some young woman, and he's going to find a way.
Does it end up like a Memento situation where then he dedicates his time to finding out who fucked that dolphin? What happened to you, Quasimodo? He's loading his gun.
So apparently he lives on this remote island by himself in some mansion where he has a butler. Oh, maybe he's has an affair with the butler.
No, because I think he has blowhole wounds on his testicles, so I'm sure he's fucking the dolphin.
So
what a man and a dolphin do is their business.
So the dolphin is named Quasimodo.
The dolphin men do.
Yeah. And is this the last time we will hear about Quasimodo? No. Unfortunately, this is the last time you'll actually see him.
Yeah.
Which I don't think there was ever a dolphin because it looks like bad stock footage they kind of cut in because you don't even see the dolphin.
It looks almost like a salamander.
Yeah. You didn't even register a dolphin first time out.
It looks like they kind of ran into SeaWorld and filmed one for 3 minutes and like, that's good. That's good. We can cut that in. Then some rich... Okay, so Jose Ferrer shows up. Right to Bronson Island. Bronson's like, "Hey, how's our good friend George doing?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, he's dead."
Very unceremoniously too.
What? My good friend George? And then he basically tells him like, "Oh hey, yeah, sorry, this doctor fried his nuts. It was a closed casket scenario. Trust me, Bronson, you didn't want to be there."
As the conversation continues, they are suddenly eating breakfast.
Oh yeah,
which is interesting. As if he's like, "How's my friend? He's dead. Fuck, want some eggs?"
And then we see, so the Jose Ferrer is like, "Hey, can you come out of retirement and kill this doctor guy for me? Because he's a real bad guy." And Bronson's like, "No, I like living on my island. I like my peace."
It does sound pretty nice.
And he goes, "But Bronson, I do have a videotape for you." And so we cut to Charles Bronson sitting. Now I put on the edge of his seat, sweaty palms, kind of excited hearing this.
Kind of gripping the chair like Lincoln.
Yeah, he's gripping it real hard. And I'm like, you can't show this stuff to Bronson. This is like porn to this man.
That's why it was in a stack of unlabeled videotapes.
He's sitting there like, each description.
Bronson's edging the whole time.
Yeah.
Apparently, they've recorded people who've had a run-in with this doctor, and they've had their all right, now tell him what. Can you tell us what he did to you next? Come on, give it a nice little salacious way.
Say it slowly.
Yeah,
it's sensual.
He took my husband.
Oh God.
He ripped his intestines out, and Bronson's like, yeah, more. Here are the things I write: forcing people to eat their own shit, driving nails through testicles, which I wrote just sounds like a Danzig video. Bottle rapes, and I'm like, oh no, this has got Bronson's attention at this point. You said the word rape. He's ready to go. At this point, if there has been a rape, he's interested in whatever you're going to tell him next. And I said, yes, it's like porn to Bronson. And he comes back.
Well, one guy.
Sorry, I was going to say the one I noted was apparently they had beheaded a guy and sewed his head into his pregnant wife's stomach.
Yeah, they wrote. I wrote that down as well.
That was the first one.
They replaced her baby with her husband's head.
Yep.
And then made her give birth?
No.
Holy shit. Can you imagine that she just goes home for the day and they're like, yeah, it's all right. You can go home. We don't need you anymore. And then she's like, oh, I think I'm in labor. Oh, no.
I was hoping that at the end of this montage, Bronson would be like, so what do you call this act? And he goes, the aristocrats. He's like, I don't get it.
But Bronson comes out. He's got a box of tissues and an empty Jergens bottle, and he goes, well, sorry, I'm not interested, but thanks for the tape. Can I keep it? And Jose Ferrer's like, all right, well, can you think about it for me? And he's like, yeah, sure.
Oh, he's thinking about it all night long.
He made an extra copy. Don't worry, Chris. So we go to Guatemala City, right? And now the doctor goes to some sort of government building where a general is waiting for him. And then we learn, so there's this lady in here that's the doctor's sister. What is her name?
Claire.
Okay, Claire. Yeah. So the sister. And basically they say like, hey, doctor, so the government's not too happy with you, and neither is like the UN and the rest of the world. And apparently they want you out of the country.
Because he's guilty of human rights violations.
Yeah, and he says some weird thing about human rights violations. I forget the exact quote.
He says there is no human rights, just security of the national state.
And he says, quote, hipster leftist or something along those lines.
Called him a snowflake and a cock, all sorts of things.
Social justice warrior.
Yeah. And I'm thinking, like, this has to be, like, he's supposed to be a Nazi doctor or something, right? Like one of these guys that ran to South America, right?
He has this weird accent that fades in and out the whole movie.
Yeah, I was thinking he was like some sort of, this is like a Boys of Brazil type of scenario.
Yeah.
So we immediately go to Mexico City, right? So we're just jumping all over the place. And we're in a lecture hall. Jose Ferrer's there. And then Bronson comes in and he's like, yeah, I've watched that tape. It's done. I've watched it 1,000 times.
I'm done.
I'm ready to meet the man.
Need to meet the man who made this tape.
And so basically he's like, oh, wait, this is great. And then immediately they like, I guess now all of a sudden we're in like a hospital?
No, you missed the other part. So he goes and meets Hector, right? Jose
Ferrer, yeah.
And then isn't that the point where?
Oh God, I can't believe I skipped over that.
That's the point where he is like, I'm gonna need a wife and a child.
I need a woman and a child for this. And he's just like, all right.
This comes out of nowhere though.
And it makes the hospital thing very strange because it's like they just went shopping at the hospital. He's like, I gotta go pick up a woman and a child.
He's like, this one was with the doctor, and the doctor did this. They're all recovering, but we got a couple that'll be ready for you.
This just ends with Bronson's like, I'm going to do it. And he's like, okay, great. And then the conversation ends with him saying, and this is the exact quote.
And one more thing, a little more difficult. I'd like to get down to Perry as a family man. I want to take a woman and child with me.
That could be dangerous, no?
Yeah, but it's only for a few days.
And I write, wait, what?
Did you know they were rolling when he said that?
I'd like to endanger a woman and a child.
And Jose Ferrer's just like, okay, well, that sounds perfectly acceptable to me. I got just the lady. So we go to the hospital, right? And Bronson and Jose go in to look at some of the doctor's victims, but they kind of just gloss over that. They're like, you've seen it. And Bronson's like, no, wait. Can we talk to some of these people a little bit more? I want some details. But then we go into a room where we meet our main actress of this movie. And I love this, is that when Bronson walks into that hotel or that hospital room, it might as well be a hotel room. He walks in and there's soft guitar music that plays.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, da-da-da. And he sees her, and in my view, he takes a liking to her.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, in my view, when I heard the guitar get strummed, it was like Cupid's bow being plucked.
Yeah,
and an arrow going right into her.
Like a Mexican Cupid.
Such a romantic cues.
The cue is, if there's a woman in the room who's exactly half of Bronson's age, he's interested.
And has been traumatized.
Yeah, if she's been traumatized and half his age.
Well, hello.
If the mental scars are showing, he's in.
I'm sorry about George.
I'm sure you are.
Well, why don't we all get together for coffee later on, huh?
And I write, I think he's going to want to take her with him for cover, not to try and have his way with her or anything, but they do need to keep up appearances, right?
Right.
Do you think that's on the plane ride over? He's like, look, you're going to be undercover. So sometimes that might require you to get under some covers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, are you okay with that? Will you go all the way? But this is even weirder. Is like, so they all give their hellos. And does anybody actually say that she's the wife of the?
Yeah.
So they say this during the scene. Because then Bronson immediately goes to like, oh, I'm so sorry to hear about your dead husband.
She goes, I'm sure you are sorry.
Yeah, there was that.
He doesn't even at this point. And apparently they're supposed to be friends. So I would think she
Roughly,
would know
yeah.
who he was.
Yeah.
But she doesn't. And they walk out of the room and Bronson looks through that little window in...
This was...
it's like a peephole. He's like looking through all creepy. He's got now you never see Bronson smile fully, but this is as close as you're gonna get. Is he does his little grin where he's like, eh. And I thought he was creeping on her, but apparently he's reading her lips.
Yeah.
Also a little creepy.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
And it's in Spanish. And through the movie, we find out he doesn't speak Spanish.
He can only read Spanish.
Oh, man.
You know what, though? I think that they probably had the character was supposed to speak Spanish, and Bronson's like, no, I'm not going to say that. They're like, but you've been reading the lips the whole movie, sir. And he's like, no.
I'll sound like an idiot.
I'm just going to look over at her and say, can you say my line, please?
Do you think he's just lying about reading lips? Like that's
Maybe.
That's something I could do. Yeah.
Because there are multiple times in this movie where we'll just see him read lips. We don't hear any audio.
Yeah. All it ever is like someone saying something, and then he looks over and smiles, and they're like, oh shit, he's reading my lips.
He does the Bronson smirk.
Yeah, we never have him actually like say the thing that he read or anything. It's just he smirks at people, and they go, he's reading my lips. He's reading my thoughts.
And so, okay. Then we go to, a plane landing. So we know
shit's happening.
The universal sign that things are happening. A plane has landed. We are at the airport. Now Bronson has gone with his new family. Okay, so he's bringing this lady and apparently her real life child.
It's a good idea. It's a good plan.
Like they didn't just go to an orphanage and grab a kid. He was like, hey, why don't you bring your real... You got a daughter? You want to put her in danger?
You got a daughter that just lost her dad in the last 3 weeks, and we just put him in the ground?
She doesn't really mind the sight of blood, right?
She's familiar with death at this point.
Can you imagine that conversation? Bronson's like talking to her about her dad. And then I heard that he stuck electrodes on his testicles. She's like, what's a testicle? Oh.
Guess I better start a little earlier.
So they're in the airport, right? And Bronson and his new family are going through customs. And I write, does anyone really believe that child is Bronson's at his advanced age, that he's going to have like an 8-year-old kid?
Yeah, it checks out.
And I write, or that it's his wife? This is a terrible cover. This looks horrible. He's like, oh yeah, this is my kid. And they're like, really? You can still, at 62, I mean, we're before Viagra. I mean, you can still get this up.
That's true. Huh. You just watched that video in the background. Playing it at volume, full blast.
And then all of a sudden, Chris, we got a runner.
That was my favorite part. Brought back memories, Mike. Let me tell you.
So, Chris, when you worked at Disneyland, there was a term for this.
Yeah, runner.
Now, would they actually scream, we got a runner?
Yeah.
So when all of a sudden, everybody at the ticket counter, you just hear, we got a runner!
Yeah.
And some guy's like trying to run through and jump over the turnstile?
Yeah.
Is it like an Annie Potts? We got one!
Kind of. Well, like it's just everyone like, runner! Like kind of.
How often do they get through?
Oh, well, they hop over. They get as far as the tunnel, and then by the tunnel, security's on the other side, and they kind of know the alert. Everyone hears the dog-eared runner, and next thing you know, the guy's tackled, and it's a magical memory for everybody involved.
Goofy lays a shoulder into him.
Yeah.
Now, did they do what they do in this movie?
Kind of, depending.
They pull out a gun and start firing into his back?
Well,
shoot him twice, then pick him up and dust him off.
Well, they have like Mickey Mouse shaped riot shields for when things are really intense. Like really intense.
Beanbag they have the taser gun, but the tasers are Mickey heads, right?
Right. Well, no, it's like little Donald Duck tails that kind of spiral out.
Those are the electrodes?
Yeah.
And just so they don't scare the children, they all play Small World instead of an electrocution sound.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, great. Mm-hmm. They just pump the music a little bit higher, and they're like, it's all right, kids. It's all an act.
And they pump up the candy smell over the smell of burning flesh to cover it up.
This sounds amazing.
Ooh,
Memories.
Ice cream.
Memories.
I figured out how I want to go.
Your last days on Earth. We got a runner. But I love this. So when this guy runs through customs for whatever reason, right?
Is that made clear?
He just starts running.
It's just a dude, right? Who just sprints suddenly.
The music swells.
Yeah.
This man runs. They shoot him in the back.
Yeah.
Right. Because
shoot him.
And then, but I love this, is he's trying to get away, but his way of getting away is he's just going to crawl on the luggage carousel.
Yeah. And he's crawling really good for a guy that's just been shot, too. He's like...
He's crawling the wrong way on a luggage carousel, they got me. They got me.
This round to you.
And then Bronson and the fake wife, they hold the child close. And I write, so is this just supposed to describe like what a shithole Guatemala is, or like what is the whole point of this scene?
Well, as you had mentioned that like their cover didn't look very convincing, so maybe Bronson paid this guy off to be a distraction.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, you make a run for it. I'll give you the cash afterwards.
You don't mind getting shot a few times, right?
We didn't tell him he was going to be shot. He told him to just carry this ID with him. And it was like, I don't know, like an Asian or a black guy or something that just didn't look like him. Set off a red flag. And
also, I can't wait until we get to Bronson's fake name he came up with, because it is the worst fake name.
Yeah.
I mean, and also, we should just say that his fake wife in this movie is of Hispanic descent, or South American descent. Yet, her name is Nancy, which I love. It's like, yeah, me and Nancy from Nebraska. It's like...
It's just an accent to go with it that's very, I don't know.
And she's like, see.
You never know.
It's possible.
But it's definitely possible.
I was like, they had to do this because Bronson's like, we need to show how bad it is outside of America. People just running around and guns going off, and it's not safe for children.
Yeah.
You need somebody like me there, a good guy with a gun. And then we see him like go through all sorts of checkpoints, and Bronson's giving everybody the evil eye as they check him through. And then we get to this super fancy hotel where Bronson's going to stay with his hostage family. And she's like, there's only 2 bedrooms in here. And he's like, oh, you got me. Oh, it's okay. I'll sleep on the floor. And she's like, no, it's okay. You can sleep on the couch. And yeah,
it's the floor.
I think he removed every piece of furniture from that room, threw it outside. He's just, I want to live in this little empty area with my blankets and a pillow.
Yeah, because you're right. You don't see any other furniture. However, no, wait, there is a couch. Because at one point, she's sitting on a couch.
Yeah, when they first get in there's a couch, there's the phone, there's everything. When we get to later in the movie, the whole room's empty.
He's like, I'm not some sort of sissy man that needs a couch. No, floor, bed, or that's it. Done.
I normally sleep on the ground, clutching Quasimodo.
It wouldn't have been great if one late night he was just sitting down and he goes, just looks up at the sky and he goes, I hope you're thinking about me too, Quasi.
And we cut to Dolphin POV. Just like, the moon.
We're staring at the same moon right now.
Well, you know, this would have been amazing, though, if Quasi somehow made his way to Guatemala. Because,
in disguise?
Yeah.
Wearing like a bucket hat and carry...
Like, we really needed a Flipper type of scenario. At one point, somebody said that... Somebody once wrote on the Grindbin Facebook that it would be great if there was a movie where Bronson teamed up with Flipper. Yeah. This is as close as you're going to get.
Yeah.
I mean, and this could have been an amazing pair-up. Bronson, Quasi, fighting crime, splashing water on some things.
Real fish out of water story. It was low-hanging fruit. Sorry, guys.
Thank you, Randall. See you next week, buddy.
So he goes, though,
Family Feud. Good answer. Good answer.
So he says he'll sleep on the floor, and it's all right. It's okay, Fig family. He won't be forcing himself on anyone just yet. But he will find a way in their lives. Trust me, one way or another, he will be in their lives. And the girl says, I like it here, Mommy. And I write, oh, so this is her real kid? This is when I first realized that. I'm like, this isn't like a stunt child, like an actress they hired? Nope.
This is the legitimate daughter of the dead guy and this woman.
Yeah. So we go to a meeting, right? And who's this guy that Bronson, like this guy will like hang out with them?
This is Max, right?
Okay, Max.
The guy looks like
right?
David Cross.
Yeah.
I think this is the informant, right? This is the guy that has all the information that's being passed.
I guess.
About the dog. I have him written as the informant.
Yeah, he's the answer guy.
Bronson's going to meet with this guy, and he's just like giving him all these pictures of the guys to kill. You know, it's like a video game. It's like, here is your quest. Mm-hmm. These are the men. This guy's worth 10 experience points. This guy's 20.
Got 3 mid-bosses before you can get to him. It's like Street Fighter 2.
Yeah. But you got to level up to sodomy before you get to the third guy first.
Okay, so all the guys around the doctor and the doctor himself. We need to kill all of them. And then Bronson goes over and looks at this nice collection of handguns on the wall. And the guy's like, hey, yeah, it's my nice collection. And Bronson's like, well, what I really need is a shotgun with a sawed-off barrel and a large caliber handgun.
You know, this is a sensitive mission. We got to make sure we get in there quietly and get out.
That's what I read. I was like, well, this is going to get very messy and very loud. So he's... He's like, obviously, alert the authorities. There will be blood.
What I need is an old pirate cannon. Can you give me one of those?
I was like, sawed-off shotgun.
He has to be very, very close to use it. Yeah.
Well, guys, before we recorded tonight, I consulted our good friend over at looserounds.com, Sean Thompson, who also just donated to this show again today. Thank you very much, Sean.
Wow.
About why you would want a sawed-off shotgun as opposed to a regular shotgun. Now, I'm going to paraphrase what Sean tells me because I'm not the gun expert, and obviously
we can take a wild guess. Round table wild guess and why? Something to make it interesting. $5 says.
Yeah.
No.
Go ahead.
No, I'm going to say closer there, wider dispersal.
Precisely.
It is wider dispersal. Right. However, he says anything within a few feet, it's just you wouldn't hit anything.
Huh.
The bullets are just going to fly everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's kind of it's a myth.
It's like a macho thing to have the sawed off.
Sean has a whole post on his website about home security with shotguns, and that the sawed off thing is not really going to work for you. You'll probably just end up spraying all over the place, and you're probably not going to. You're probably not going to hit it.
If someone breaks into my home, I'm already going to spray all over the place.
So it's basically like me trying to pee in the morning.
Yeah.
Or after sex.
I mean, but as we know, Bronson, he really only likes to kill up close and personal, so he's shoving that sawed off into some guy's gut before he unloads it. So it's not like he'll need to be more than 2 feet away. He'll be right up next to him.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and he's hoping he can get the genitals in there too. Of course, it's Bronson. So we go to...
He's a genital man.
Okay, now this is amazing because the next scene in this movie, where are we going to go? Well...
Cockfights?
Cockfights. Saturday night cockfight. And Bronson brings his fake wife to the cockfight?
In very, very nice clothing. They're both dressed way too nice for this.
Isn't he in like powder blue? Like
him and his wife are in dress clothing.
It's like a day at the races.
They're like they're going to an opera.
He's got a drip in his hand.
Like they're walking into almost like the Rambo 2 setup, like this is.
He didn't get the fists.
Yeah, it's like I guess it's like in Bloodsport when everybody's there for the kumite. There are people finely dressed. However, Bronson and his fake wife trying to blend in don't blend in at all.
At least in Raw Force, they just went in the clothes they already had when they went to the kickboxing.
He's like, yeah, bring some nice clothing. We're gonna be going out on the town a couple nights.
Bring that dress from Easter.
She's like, all right, get dressed tonight. And she's like, oh, where are we going? Oh, the cockfight. So this is amazing, though. As I write, he's holding her hand now.
Well, the mood is right.
Yeah, gotta keep up those appearances.
He sees blood. Something's getting filled with blood, too.
I was like, I bet he had to talk her into that.
On set?
She's like, oh, no, what are you doing? This is just an act. He's like, no, it's part of the game. It's part of the cover. I'm going to hold your hand.
Oh, I thought you meant like this was like an actor choice.
Oh, maybe.
Trying to like... It's
it's the same conversation. This is part of the game. This is how we do this.
Yeah.
So this is even better. Is not only is there a cockfight, but apparently this cockfight has luxury boxes.
I wrote that down too. We've got like the VIP box, like they're going to a hockey game.
Yeah, I write. There's like fine linens, silverware, like nice crystal glasses, glassware, stemware.
Like maybe we are dressed appropriately for this cockfight.
But this like luxury box is just, I don't know, how far would you say it's from the cock ring?
You beat me too. I was gonna say something. There's nothing Mexico values more than their cocks, but you beat me to that one.
We're talking about cock rings, about 3 inches.
So no, how cock? I mean, it's what, 10 feet
from the ring? Yeah, it's really close.
Because one of the guys, the bodyguard, has like a pair of binoculars out, and I'm like, well, for what? The cocks are right in front of you. Like, what do you need with these binoculars? And then apparently, did they notice the fake wife?
It looks like they...
No, they totally did, because their inconspicuous plan is to sit there and dead stare
just
across of them. Sit directly across them and stare into their souls.
Yeah, because
we don't want to be found out.
Like, they sit in the luxury box and Bronson's like, oh, that's them. Oh, I'm nervous.
Yeah. they both stiffen up like corpses and just sit there, not looking at the cockfight at all.
This is like running into your fucking ex at like the movies or something. Like, same shit.
Yeah, except it would be like running into your ex, but you and your date are wearing white. In like a sea full of people that are just in dirty clothing.
But you're dressed like Mary Poppins and Bert.
Yeah.
And she's got like a quinceañera dress on. Like there's these big puffs on the shoulder and everything. And they look right at them like, I think that those people are not supposed to be here. And he's like, oh shit, they're looking at us.
Like with their outfits and their stare, I'm pretty sure they were like, I think I'm seeing a ghost right now. Like they're not from right now. I know this.
And then the fake wife just kind of goes, I gotta go. Like, she's like, I'm not sure I can watch her cockfight. I didn't know what this was. And then one of the doctor's guys, which I don't think he ever makes an appearance again.
The limping guy? Yeah, he does.
I just called him Gimpy.
So I am written down as Tiny Tim. So it's more or less the same thing.
It was weird. So we have the whole guy with the binoculars, and he's looking through the crowd, not the cockfight.
Yeah.
And he stops on Bronson, and the
fake wife.
Yeah, and the fake wife, and they talk to each other for a second, and then that kind of ends that scene. But then we get to the limping guy, and he's like, "Hey, you want to buy some dope?"
And then what does Bronson say to him? It just sounds like gibberish.
He says something. It sounded like he's like, "You got a toy elephant?"
Like, hey, mister, do you want some dope? I said dope. Do you want any?
You have elephant?
Huh?
You mean toy dog?
Huh?
I guess you don't.
It's really like, I think he's trying to use like slang terms for dope, and the guy doesn't know what he's talking about, and that's how he knows this guy's full of it.
Oh, I thought Bronson was just like, I don't know the lines. I'm just gonna go through my act, like it's like Lorem Ipsum text, you know?
Yeah. Moss covered 3-handle family credenza.
And the guy's
like, what?
The guy's looking at the camera like, wait, what?
Are we rolling? Are we still? It's 8 o'clock. So it's 8 o'clock. So he walks out of the city.
Do you think Bronson like purposely ran down the clock on certain days?
Oh, you know he did. Oh yeah, you know he did. I don't know why I keep getting this line wrong. Hey, what time is it?
Yeah, maybe we should try it tomorrow. Oh, we only have this location for today. Whoop, too bad.
Well, and that's why he slowly struts all the time, just so slow.
I know. We were saying before we recorded, I think I've taken less notes on this movie than any movie because the scenes are very long.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right, Randall. It's not that they're like that they have a lot of content. It's just that Bronson's taking his time.
This whole next scene doesn't have a lot of content. So we're watching this gimpy guy climb up the stairs, knowing there's an elevator.
Okay, so there's a hotel. We're in the hotel now. It's nighttime. Okay, and Bronson's on the floor.
Bronson's sleeping on this empty floor now.
With
Now
his
all the stuff's gone except for the one pillow and a blanket. And there is this guy, this gimpy guy on crutches, hopping up a stair at a time through the hotel. But there's an elevator like directly behind him. He could have taken up. Never did.
No.
He eventually he hit something that caused like a creak or a bell to ring or something.
Well, not only that, Hughes. Here's a good idea. Let's have a guy go sneak on a guy, right? In a hotel full of like marble floors, very echoey. Let's send the guy with the crutch. Because this thing is just like click, 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 click. And Bronson hears him when he's like in the lobby. He can hear him. He's like, oh, I hear something.
But leave it at Bronson to fuck it up, too.
But this just ends.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Bronson comes out of the room and he sees the gimpy guy running down the other side of this.
Well, the only reason why the guy runs away because Bronson like knocks over like a toy monkey with like a chime on it. He's like, oh shit.
It's one of the things he asked the guy for when he tried to sell him dope. You got a toy monkey with a chime on it?
Yeah.
It's the kid. You know, it's all the kid's fault.
Yeah.
You left your fucking toys in the way. God damn it.
No, I think Bronson was sleeping with it because he rolled over, then it fell over.
That's his toy he brought from home.
He lost his comfort monkey and it woke him up.
So we go to this patio scene where Bronson's playing darts with the young girl because he needs to show that he can also be a good daddy eventually.
And that's the sign of good parenting, is being able to teach a little kid how to play darts.
And I was theorizing, do you guys think that at some point Bronson's just going to like convince both of them that he is the new daddy? Like he's just going to be like, well, we got so used to acting like it. Maybe we should just do it for real.
This is how he proposes. He's going to do, hey, you want to play house? You be at the screen door and I'll slam you all night long. That was probably his proposition line.
Oh my God.
Then we see the wife is onto his tricks, right? Because she's kind of looking at him, and she's like, I'm onto this guy because he's a killer. And then she looks over, he can read lips.
Yeah, she has the line, he's cold, bloodless. And then she looks over and he gives her this look of, that's right, baby.
He's like, don't you forget it. We should have stayed for that cockfight. So then we go in the car, right? The Bronson family vacation continues. They're all in the car and they're going around the doctor's headquarters, which we can clearly see have video cameras everywhere.
Oh yeah, full CCTV thing.
And then Bronson just tells him, hey, stop the car in the middle of the street. All right, I'm going to hang out here for a while. You guys go back to the hotel. And he's not kidding, because the next thing is we just cut to night. And I go, so I guess he wasn't kidding. He's just hung out there literally all day.
Oh, man, inconspicuously just sat there in a car outside the compound.
A tree. And so then he just sees some bodyguard come out and talk to some guy, and he reads their lips. I don't really think it goes anywhere.
That was the guy that was limping. He's no longer limping. That's the scene.
So hold on.
As
The guy
Bronson
driving
ends
the
up
car.
describing it when he talks about it, he says, quote, "The cripple was walking like a champ."
I did not hear that line.
Yep, that line is in this. I had to write that down.
Okay, so why, if he was faking that injury, first of all, how would he know going to the cockfight that they were somehow going to see somebody there that he need to fake an injury? And then also, why would they send him with the crutch to the hotel to sneak on him?
Yeah, why did he keep doing it while he was alone in the hallway?
Yeah.
He's method.
But after this scene, isn't this the scene where Bronson goes, "Hey, they're convinced that we're just here as tourists. Go now."
Yeah,
that was the whole point of this limping guy.
But they never knew he was there to begin with.
Yeah, no, but that's what he says. He goes, "I read their lips, and they are convinced that we're tourists." So somehow he thinks that they were talking about him.
There's no reason for them to suspect anything.
What?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
No wonder you were telling me this makes no sense. This makes no sense. Okay,
now you're on the trolley.
Here we go.
Hey, hop on board this train.
So then we go to
this thing going southbound.
Then we go to morning at the hotel, and Bronson's like, "All right, well, I guess you and the kid can go home. I don't need you anymore." And I write, "Does he need them at all?"
He didn't need them to
No, he
begin
didn't.
with.
Well, he needed them to get through those checkpoints as a family, but that
makes sense.
But
After
do
that,
you
he's
think
telling
they
her
had-
to go home.
Yeah, do you think they had sex? Because they're both in their bathrobes, and he's like brushing his teeth.
That's why he's telling her to go home.
Yeah, he's like, "You can go home now."
Yeah.
My work is done.
We know we know that routine. We got that workflow down for Bronson. Work all night, fuck all morning, send her home.
So then the doctor, basically, so we go to the doctor, and he tells the bodyguard to go to the embassy, and he needs people taken care of for him, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you're right on that. He sends the CIA black guy. I don't
The
know
bodyguard guy.
One of the three bodyguards.
The black guy would be Randolph. He's the doctor's communications expert.
Right.
And also a computer programmer.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's the tech guy.
Yeah, we'll never
who
see
also
him touch a
loves
computer.
dive bars. That's all we know
Oh,
about
yeah.
him when they introduced him earlier. When we're going through the mid-boss explanations.
Oh, and we're almost there.
You'll find him on the dive bar level.
So we go to the we go to the fake wife and the daughter, right, at Max's house. And Bronson, I guess they're supposed to be leaving at this point, and the daughter's like, she goes to Bronson, she says, "I want to see your fish." And he's like, "His name is Quasimodo. You'll meet him one day." And the Bronson and the wife leave, and the daughter says, she looks at him, she goes, "I love you too."
Yeah,
And
it's this weird, she turns into a ghost child. She goes, "Bye, Holland. Bye, Mommy.
I was like, well,
I love you too." And then a door closes itself in the background.
Yeah. All right, at this point, we know something's going to happen. Why would we drop a line like that if nothing was? So now we see, and this was confusing, so apparently Bronson is following the bodyguard.
He's now following the bodyguard, which we find out he was following him to the U.S. ambassador.
So
office.
who is this U.S. guy?
That's the U.S. ambassador, isn't it?
I don't know.
John
I
Glover,
just wrote
right?
him as like U.S. guy. Yeah, John Glover.
Yeah, he's playing a character named Briggs. I think he's.
But what?
I think he's the ambassador.
What does this man do?
He's the ambassador. He just sits there and ambassadors.
Why would why would the U.S. ambassador have any care in the world about this doctor?
Apparently, he used the doctor to get information, and that's what they're blackmailing
what he said.
with.
He's like, the U.S. used the doctor, and it was just like, well, you can't prove that. So what the fuck does he care? He should just at this point be like, fuck it, do whatever you want.
Well, apparently, I'd be very scared of this doctor if I was in South America, U.S. ambassador or not.
Yeah.
And I just do what he says. But he's like, I'm going to lose my
Ambassading
job.
would be the last of my words.
Yeah, I'm going to lose my job. I'd be like, I want to lose my job.
Yeah.
I was forced under duress by the doctor.
So he just says, all right, fine, I'll take care of it. Take care of what? I don't know. At this point, what is the bodyguard asking him to do? Oh, he's asking him...
Not to kick the doctor out.
Yeah, he's like, can the doctor please stay? He really likes his house here.
Yeah, it ties into that earlier scene where they were booting him from Guatemala.
Yeah, he's like, the real estate market's kind of soft right now. It's going to go up in a little bit. Maybe he could wait a few years. He'll sell it. He can move on to Peru, something else. And they're like, yeah, I guess he can stay. So then we go to a local dive bar. And oh my God, is the next 10 minutes of this movie gonna make the whole fucking thing?
Classic.
So Bronson leads the fake wife into the bar, and she's just kind of scared. She's like, I don't think we should be here.
My grandfather told me about these places.
And Bronson goes, it has an intimate charm.
As he will too in a moment.
Yeah. The fake wife sits at a table, and Bronson's like, I'm going to go get a beer. So he leaves her alone at this table. And who wants to tell me what happens next?
Some guy that looks like kind of looks like Nightwolf from Mortal Kombat kind of comes over.
I had him as Richard Keel in brown face. Like Jaws from the James Bond movies, but
he does have a very similar jaw structure to Jaws.
A little bit of the Great Khali, if you remember that guy.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to make a pro wrestling reference in every episode I appear on.
Well, fuck yeah, dude.
So this guy comes up to the lady.
Oh, he decides to. He's gonna get a little chummy, but unannounced. Put the old arm around the shoulder, and maybe start a little nibbling here and there. And Bronson is taking his time, sweet time, ordering 2 chelas or 2 beers, if you will, cervezas.
And I always love in movies, by the way, when they just go up to a bar and they go, 2 beer.
Yeah.
It's like, well, which one, sir?
Yeah.
And you'd think they'd stop at some point, but even like, I think it was like the first X-Men movie back in 2000, Logan's like, give me a beer.
2 beers.
Okay. Because I tried that in a bar. That didn't get me very far.
Yeah. So that Bronson takes his sweet fucking time with his 2 beers. And
we must be at hour 7 on the work.
Yeah. He's like slowly doing like the saunter over to the table. He sees what's going on. And kind of like goes, oh, would you look at that? It's kind of like, I like a challenge. And just...
Well, it's amazing because he comes back and he goes, I'm not even gone for 10 seconds and you already got somebody.
Yeah, like making a joke about it.
Yeah, like he's almost a little jealous husband.
And this guy's real handsy. He's got like a full hand, a handful of cup going on.
His hands are so big he could have both in one hand.
I mean, if you got 2 fists in there, it would kill her.
Good lord.
He is definitely he's rubbing all over her face too, and he's also very sweaty. Everybody in this room is very, very sweaty, by the way, and he's just rubbing his sweat all over her and just licking her face and everything.
It's uncomfortable.
And he looks up and he goes, "Who is this American shit?"
Who is not? It's not a Spanish accent.
No, not at all.
No, this guy sounds like
from.
Andre the Giant.
Yeah.
This guy's from the Alps.
And she's like, it's my husband. And then Bronson sits down and he stares right at this guy's eyes. And he gives him the long Bronson stare. And he says that line, he goes, something about, this man knows you know your own mortality.
What you're feeling is your own mortality.
Yeah,
right
what you're feeling is your own mortality. And he knows it. And then...
he flips over this table, grabs this guy's dick, and takes him to the ground.
Now, okay, Randall, had you seen this scene?
No, I had not.
You went into this cold?
I wrote down the old grab the cock, stomp the throat maneuver. It even goes double-handed on that.
Like he does a quick bicep curl at one point. He gets a couple reps in before he stomps on him.
I mean, did you guys ever think when you started this movie that there was going to be a part where Charles Bronson grabs a man's penis and breaks it?
Let alone a 3-foot penis, because this thing's gigantic.
He was like wringing it out like it's like soggy laundry, like a wet towel.
He 2-hands this thing, and you can see the outline in the pants. Is Bronson's got it 2 hands and he's twisting it, and everybody in the whole bar is like gathering around going like, yeah, cockfight.
And I'm going like, that is like, wow, what a great prop. And Bronson's like, what prop?
Method acting.
Can you imagine if this was not planned? It's like he's supposed to punch this guy and he's like, no, I got another idea.
You miss your line one more time. And we're adding an extra action sequence.
Now, did you hear, by the way, while he's got his foot on the throat and 2 hands on board, 2 hands on deck, right?
Yeah.
And he's twisting, you can hear a slight snap.
Is it right before the guy passes out?
Yeah. And I'm like, do you think that was the neck or the dick?
I'm thinking that's the neck. There's not a dick bone. Let's be real here. It's
but
cartilage.
It does have a little snap sound.
It can make a sound.
It can make a sound, yeah.
Things can go a little awry and you can hear a sound.
But that's if you're like hard, right? I mean...
Well, right. I mean, he was working that thing for a solid minute. There's a good chance it had a little blood flow.
Yeah, this is not a short scene, by the way.
I don't think he was necessarily... He was getting it ready for the finishing move.
Yeah,
I don't think he actually died. I think he just passed out from all the blood rushing to his dick.
This scene does
John
go
Holmes
on.
Situation.
This scene does go on, and I'm not kidding. The dick grab is a minute long.
I have spent less time on my own.
The dick grab is a minute long, and then he passes out or dies. I don't know what.
I choose to believe that was the snap, was his soul leaving his body.
But I would say that of all the Bronson movies I've seen, this is my favorite Bronson kill, even if he doesn't kill the guy.
Death by hand job?
This is incredible. I mean, I'm wondering if this was in the script. Do you think this is why he said I'm not going to do this movie?
The Madeline guy wrote this in here?
The Madeline guy. I mean, I just can't imagine Bronson agreeing to do that. I mean, we've seen in Kinjite he did sodomize a man, but that was off screen. He had to grab a man's dick in this movie. And I would never imagine a 62-year-old Charles Bronson being okay with that, but apparently he was. So we move on.
Maybe this is like an Indiana Jones thing. Like there was supposed to be this huge bar fight. And he was like, look, I got to get out of here in 20 minutes.
We only got 30 minutes left.
I got an idea. All right?
One fight.
Bear with me.
So then we see the bodyguard comes over, right? And he's like, wow, great work, by the way.
Strong hands.
Yeah, he opens with, you got strong hands.
And then Charles Bronson says something like, it's some sort of like 2 chandeliers or
Yeah,
something
he said,
like
I
that?
just had glass chandeliers. I didn't know what else to do. So I guess that's where he gets hand strength or something. I don't have a glass chandelier. I don't know if that's a move, the glass chandelier that he was doing to him.
But then, I don't know. I have no idea. I couldn't get the reference.
This is another toy elephant situation.
That's like a gold dust move, the glass chandelier, and he just twists your dick.
Oh, absolutely. I remember that. He drops down his back, he grabs it real quick.
Yeah,
Rest can't be looking at the time.
WrestleMania 18, never forget.
So,
welcome back to the Gold Dust podcast. The Gold Bin.
The Gold Bin.
So Bronson invites this guy over for a drink, and he's like, hey, by the way, my name's Bart Smith. I'm like, this is the most Mad Libs, like, undercover name I've ever heard. He just comes up and he's like, something Smith, but...
Well, it's better than Cinderella Pooh.
Maybe.
Really?
He goes,
Cinderella Pooh. You think that's better than this?
No, it's worse. But Bronson goes, hey, my name's Bart Smith. This is my wife, Nancy. We're from a small town in Nebraska. And you notice it.
I had a line that he was going to add in there, too. He also says, it's nice to hear somebody else speak English. So we got a little touch of what we were hoping for.
Yeah, there you go,
Bronson.
Hughes. You got a little bit of the old racist Bronson.
Bronsism.
And then if you notice, he keeps putting his hands on this man's hands.
Oh.
I picked up on that, too. He's establishing physical contact with his hands that he did not wash after the last scene.
So he's putting his dick hands all over this man's hands.
I think he's wiping his hands on the guy. He's just like,
I thought at first that it was maybe he was just doing it to be, like, for some reason Bronson was going to hold his hand. I don't know why he was doing it.
Well, it goes with the you got strong hands opening. We're talking about chandeliers. I think Bart Smith, when the bear's hungry, he eats.
Because he did not make mention of the woman.
No. You're right. And I
think he's just lining this up with the guy.
All capital letters in my notes, I write, wait, Bronson wants to have a threesome with this guy?
Yeah.
Because he starts talking about wife swapping, and obviously the bodyguard has no wife.
Yeah, the bodyguard starts talking about the fact that he's done some crazy shit here. This is nothing new for him, man. He's down. He's looking for a good time. I have an issue with this moment. She has no dialogue here. Neither of them, they're negotiating what they're going to do with her.
Yeah,
they're acting like she's not in the room.
She looks mortified the whole time.
Oh, yeah. Completely. This is problematic.
She's like, wait, whoa. I did not sign up for this. Like, I'm not...
Like, and with the height differences, they're literally talking over her head right now about double-teaming her later.
She's just sinking
including
in her seat.
Bronson has the line, three's all right with me.
Tagline.
Okay, I did not see that Bronson would have to ever pretend to be gay in a movie.
Yeah.
Like, this was just amazing to me.
Once you got a handful of giant cock, the gloves were off. He's just like, you know what? I've got a taste for it now.
He goes, Pacino's getting all the work. He was in that cruising movie. Maybe I need to add some of that into my movies,
Let's see you do that, Seagal.
I got to show him I got range, and I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of a little contact. And he's just touching this guy's hands. He's going on and on. Three's all right with me.
I was hoping for a cheek caress, like a back of the head.
Just kind of cups the face a bit.
I wrote, though, I definitely did not see this coming.
No.
How could you?
There is no way I would have ever guessed that Charles Bronson would have propositioned another man in a movie. So this
Like, that is a bar trivia question you'd get wrong.
And by the way, this to a traditional Death Wish audience, I couldn't imagine them being like, "Wait,
Oh, God,
whoa,
yeah.
what's going on here?"
Oh, yeah. There were a lot of uncles that were outraged watching this movie right now.
There's some walkouts in this scene. They're like, "Nope, I didn't sign up for this. No, it's not the truck I know."
They got to Bronson.
They got him. They got him. So we go back to the hotel. The threesome party has arrived.
Oh, man.
But don't worry. So this scene, the guy walks in, the bodyguard's all excited. He's like, so we got a bed in the room. And then all of a sudden...
Oh, yeah. So he goes, well, let's get some... Like, the guy's like, let's get this party started. How about some drinks?
And Bronson...
I
it's just
swear
the
to God.
shot from the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
From
Like,
the other
we're,
angle,
like,
right?
And it's like the most like cheat. Well, it's a very good shot because the guy doesn't see it. I feel like at least lead the guy on a little bit more.
That's what I was like.
Yeah.
I wanted to see Bronson go a little bit further.
Yeah.
with this.
Like, get his shirt off first.
I wanted to see them at least touch each other. Like, I want to see Bronson and him maybe get a hug going on.
Yeah.
Little hip to hip.
Hip to
I
hip.
want to see something.
Pelvis to pelvis.
Just a quick Charlie Brown's nuzzle.
You see in the script, it's like, and then Bronson and the bodyguard get in bed. He's like, you know about that scene.
This is what I call a brawn job.
So instead, he ends it real quick as he's like, nope, not even going to undo my belt.
Yeah.
He just throws this switchblade really crazy, hits this guy right in the
Friday the 13th takeout.
Yeah, he hits him right in the throat, and he's just bleeding all over the fucking place.
And I love that he kind of like corners Bronson back into the bathroom, and like Bronson just goes with it. But then
he pulls his gun and then slowly backpedals away from the guy.
But it's brilliant because he's like doing the cleanup for himself.
Yeah.
In a way, because he's gonna bleed out. It's like, well, how convenient. Follow me.
and seconds later, she comes back in, and he's already got him hung upside down
Yeah.
by his feet, and he's like washing him.
Yeah, and she was totally ready for the threesome. She wouldn't change.
Yeah. She's like, all right, let's get to what the fuck?
That's why she was mad.
Well, that's right. She's all mad about it. I'm like, is she mad about the death or the lack of threesome? Like, she was like, oh fuck, I thought we were going to have a good night tonight.
Chinese finger cuffs.
down the sink.
Like,
Shit.
with her shock and outrage, it ends with her like, and he's dead?
But he's got him hung up upside down in the shower, like washing him off, letting him bleed. Like,
He's got him set up like he's going to sell him.
this is like a kosher kill.
Kosher kill. That should have been a title of the Bronson movie.
The only thing I can think of the reasoning is to drain him of the liquid so he's easier to carry.
Yeah, so that when they're taking him downstairs, he's not leaking everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, it makes sense.
That's absolutely what
It was the weirdest.
Well, he's got a neck
that makes
wound. He
sense.
hung him upside down. It's all gonna. Well, you guys haven't done this?
Do you think that at any point Bronson said to
man.
the fake wife, he's like, hey, could you put that do not disturb on the door?
I don't want the cleaning lady walking in on this.
She's trying to walk in and somebody, no.
The bed's fine.
Late checkout.
Sir, you got a lot of furniture out here in the hallway.
Yeah, what happened to the rest of the furniture?
Don't worry about it.
Told you, it's gone. He's gone.
So, yeah, it's such a bad country, Hughes. They'll steal your hotel room furniture. That's what it was. So we go back to the doctor's compound, right? And Bronson just drops the bodyguard's body off. And then he just shoots all these floodlights out. And then henchmen come out. Like, he just drives away.
He leaves it like a prank. Like it's a flaming bag on their doorstep.
It's a ding-dong ditch, you know? Like, this will be not... Okay, this will be the first time, but not the last time, where Bronson basically invents the Home Alone formula.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because he sets a lot of Kevin McAllister traps.
Oh, absolutely.
And will he use something from Home Alone 2 in this movie, Chris?
Oh, yeah.
So we go to the... Okay, so all the henchmen come out, and they're like, oh, shit. They see that body, and they immediately stop chase. They're just like, oh, well, now we got to take care of this body.
They like ran right to the doctor right away.
Yeah.
And like, oh, this guy's dead. Oh,
yeah, they're
that
like,
sucks.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
So then the fake wife... Okay, basically the fake wife says she can't leave. She was going to leave, but then it's a scene of her going like, oh, I can't leave because I want to see him dead.
She like took off, got to the airport, and said, meh.
Yeah, that's what she said. She's like, oh, I got the customs, and then I turned around.
I mean, I came all the way here.
It seems like she's almost left like 3 times at this point.
Yeah, because he keeps asking her. He was like, maybe you should go. And then all of a sudden she gets in a car with him.
See, like, she keeps being like, I'm going to leave. He's like, that's a good idea. And then she comes back. He's like, ah, God damn it.
Is she just gonna go buy the ticket at the airport? I mean, like, what?
I don't know.
One, please.
Could you do that back then?
How about they send the kid? Just be done with it.
Yeah, send the kid home.
Send the kid. That's all they had to do for this movie. Send the kid home. I wanted the mom to die, and then Bronson adopts the kid later.
Well, I guess we're stuck with each other. You can go meet Quasi. I do like this, though, is she saying, I can't leave because I need to see it through, and they're at Max's house. And then Bronson, he brings it up again. He's like, so Max, about that shotgun. Like, he never got his shotgun delivered. He's like, I'm still waiting.
Really itching for that shotgun.
Yeah. I got that large caliber handgun. It's not quite at all my style. But I'm really going to need that shotgun. I want to, quote, rattle some cages, is what he says. Then we go to a bar, and a henchman comes into the bar asking about where the bodyguard was, because you're right, he's got a thing for dive bars, so that's his place. And then he tries to walk out of the building, and in the middle of, like, public, Bronson just breaks this guy's neck.
Yeah, it's really strange. He, like, walks through a doorway, and he's in a chokehold. Just immediately.
And you think people are just like, hey, it's Guatemala.
Yeah,
what are you going to do?
Guatemalan rules.
What rules?
Guat rules.
So we go to the embassy. The doctor is in the embassy, and he's talking to that U.S. guy, the diplomat.
Briggs.
Yeah, he thinks that the governments are killing his henchmen to get to him.
And
he has no
like,
idea that Bronson even exists.
Yeah, he's like, I want you on it. And he's like, all right, okay.
Bring people here.
Yeah,
to
he
take
says
care of
they
this.
deserve what they got for being so stupid, in reference to the henchmen that are gone already. And
Yeah.
he ends it with, get outside help.
So the next scene is probably the second best scene in this movie, is we go to the sister's apartment. So, well, there's a lot of good moments in this scene. It goes on for a while, and there's another thing. Again, we got to get this bizarre sexual stuff, because it's not a Charles Bronson movie without some sort of weird sex angle. So Bronson sneaks into this apartment before the sister gets there. And the sister's coming in there with a young lady.
A young lady.
Yeah.
I thought it was her daughter.
Yeah, I was like, oh, it must be her daughter.
Yeah.
It's definitely the age they're going for there.
So Bronson, he sees them come into the apartment, and then he hides under the
Yeah,
bed.
he's like, oh, shit. And he, like, crawls under the...
We now find out that this is not the daughter, but a hooker?
I believe so.
Or significant other.
At least it isn't. We
Why
don't know
do you
anything about a
assume hooker,
transaction
Mike?
occurring. It could just be.
What's this hooker business? We don't know.
They're not all hookers.
It could just be her girlfriend.
It's a hooker.
How do you know?
Either okay, well, if
Was
it's
it-
her
was it the
girlfriend,
cold
she's not
demeanor?
there very long. It's just like, thank you, goodbye.
Well, that's
had a
why the
meeting-
sister and Bronson got along.
Okay, so but Bronson's under the bed.
He's under the bed. It's so good because this bed is a piece of shit bed.
Yeah.
And he's from where he is. We get
bed elitist.
complete front nudity of the girl, the prostitute, as Mike likes to put it, and just like the knees of the sister, the old lady's sister. And then one gets on the bed, and then the old lady gets on the bed, and we see the towel drop to the floor, and the bed almost smashes Bronson in the
it definitely
face.
touches like his nose, at least for a second.
He's, oh shit!
This whole scene is like played for comedy. There's a lot of
Yeah.
shots of Bronson's face, like, whoa, hey, what's this?
Did you see when the hooker, I'm standing by that, took off her clothing? Bronson like puts his head back, like,
Yeah.
oh no, not this.
Oh, anything but this. No.
It's so
Consensual sex.
apparently,
I don't know what to do with this.
apparently Bronson's under the bed during the whole act.
Yeah.
So do you think he had like, something going on and they kept bouncing on it and he's like, oh boy.
It would have been. I wish they would have kept it longer of just a scene of the mattress hitting his face over and over. He's just like,
Could he break the fourth wall for that scene and just like stare like it's a living?
yeah. And so after the act, the sister does ask the mistress of the night if she wants to shower first. Oh no, she answered that before. She says like, "Do you want to shower first?" And she says no. And I was like, well, I guess if it was a hooker, you might insist on that. You might be like,
Maybe.
Could just be a girl she picked up.
But yeah,
One of those dive bars.
So like when she gets, so they have the sex, and the hooker gets dressed and she leaves, and she's walking out of the elevator on the bottom floor of wherever this apartment is, and the bodyguard for the doctor is sitting in the bottom, and he throws like a piece of paper at the back of her head.
yeah, he's like playing basketball with the trash can.
Yeah, he's just
And
like,
he just-
Kobe, and throw it in the thing.
chucked it at her.
And he just stares at her while she walks away, and then he goes upstairs. So it's like he's definitely not
His
allowed
character,
up there.
Solero, who was described in the breakdown earlier as the chauffeur for the doctor. He's not even a bodyguard. He's just the driver.
So this guy, though, apparently he makes himself right at home because he comes up into the apartment. Okay, so the sister goes and she's going to take a shower. And so Bronson's still under the bed. He gets out of the bed at this point, and I swear to God, he zips up that zipper. But this guy, the driver, comes in, and then he just opens a cabinet and starts rolling himself a joint.
Yep.
And I was like,
right at the dining room table.
Yeah. So, like I said, he makes himself at home, and Bronson's like watching him from over this railing, and then he goes downstairs and he kicks this guy's ass.
Kicks him right in the face.
You just.
And then we see him go out of the apartment and grab a fire hose.
Amazing.
Well, I like that he was able to just open the fire hose glass without having to break it. Because usually there's like a thing you break or there's a key.
No, it's got a handle for those ones, right?
I don't recall.
I think they changed it over time.
Probably
Too many
over
people
time.
were doing exactly what Charles Bronson does.
Yeah, yeah.
They had a real problem with
They're
this.
like, we can't make this so easy to open. We gotta really.
So tell me, what's he do with that fire?
Oh, he's gonna do a certain execution
Yeah.
routine. And I thought at first he was just gonna take it and spray the woman when she came out of the shower.
Yeah, because the next scene you see is him at the bathroom door.
Like, you want to clean off, do you? Hey, clean off with this.
Now, knowing Kinjite, I was afraid that fire nozzle was going in somebody's orifice somewhere.
Yeah.
I was worried that he was going to shove it up the man and turn it on.
Yeah.
Or the sister, for that
Or
case.
the-
And I was
yeah.
like, oh no, Bronson, please don't. Please don't.
Well, all bets were off after that bar scene. We were like, it could happen.
Yeah. But he gets her out of the shower and he's like, get dressed.
Yeah, so he kind of makes her walk down the stairs at gunpoint, and this guy's now kind of like straddling over the ledge,
Like a cat hanging
yeah,
on the ledge.
like he's taking a cat nap on this ledge with like the fire hose noose, and just kind of comes to give him the nudge that he needs. He's like, oh,
Bronson has this demeanor of like, what, this old thing?
It's like, this is incredible, is that like he couldn't just hold her at gunpoint. He needs to show her he really means business by killing this guy in front of her. He kicks him off the balcony and this dude gets hung by a fire hose. Now this is what's so disturbing about this. For some reason, the movie decided to show a bunch of like children watching this.
Yeah.
In the school bus?
Yes, a school bus rides by. I was like, what the fuck? Like, we really need to see children looking out of a window being like, oh.
Like, this scene needs something. Can we do like a cutaway of some minors having to see this happen?
This is what I did right. I said this movie is sick on a whole different level, even beyond you, Bronson. Like, this movie is fucking disgusting. I mean, at least in Death Wish 3, nobody was like, no child was watching the murder.
Oh no, Death Wish 3 is fine compared to what happens here. This is a low.
And then, oh god, it gets scarier because the next thing we cut to is Bronson has the sister tied up on a bed. And I was like, I don't like where this is going, Chuck. And this guy, okay, so Max is also there, and apparently he gives Bronson a treasure map.
Basically, yeah.
Because he's like, here's the map I was talking about, and here's this. And I was like, what?
Here's this city with an abandoned mine. That's all it was.
Oh, okay. And so we go to the embassy, and then the U.S. guy, the doctor, and some general, they're wondering why all these guys are dying.
So wait, before that, so we have that scene where he gets the map and he's going to find the abandoned city, but then he tells Max, the informant, you're not safe because they have tied the informant to Bronson and they're going to kill him. How? Did I miss something? How do they identify Bronson as doing anything?
They've never seen... Well, they're like, it must be that guy at the cockfight, right? That guy in the white suit?
The guy that was staring at us like we were all going to die. That might be the guy who's killing us all.
Think of the people that he's killed one by one. Nobody's been reporting back to the doctor that it was that guy.
No.
And he threw this guy off as a fire hose and he's dead. Now he has the sister and he goes, okay, they know who I am. I have no idea how they know who
By the
he
way, I
is.
did my fire hose trick. They all know now.
At this point, he doesn't even know his sister's gone.
Yeah.
But I think the scene is cut wrong.
Yeah.
Because you're right. It's like they know everybody's dead, and they're like, he says something about his sister's been kidnapped. But because the next scene is going to be that ransom call.
Yeah.
So at this point, I think this is cut out of order.
Yeah, for sure.
But he's like, okay, wait, no, it's
No,
not.
that's not the next scene. The next scene is then the informant is captured and they torture him.
Yeah, you're right. So they have Max.
But
right?
somehow, I don't know how they tied any of this to Bronson to Max to then take Max and torture him. There's no connection.
Yeah, it's just a jump to them having Max. Like, there's no in between there, really.
Right.
No,
we never see him get abducted.
I mean,
sort of.
This movie's an hour 20 minutes. There's a missing 5 minutes somewhere down it that they cut out more story. They're like, no. Get more shots of kids in school buses.
That Firehose scene, it was an extended. Like we watch cars stop and look because this guy's falling in the air so long.
Then this wonderful slow motion of like a department store mannequin falling out of the window.
Oh yeah, it's very fake.
It's stiff as a board. The thing is just straight up and down. It's like a cardboard cutout of a man is falling with a fire hose.
I'm pretty sure it does hit a balcony.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it does. It hits a couple on the way down.
Like Titanic style, ping pongs its way down.
What was that, Randall?
Oh, I was just saying, that dude would have been dead before the noose came into play because that dummy bounced off of a balcony.
Yeah. And the rigor mortis had set in.
Yeah.
Because he was just completely stiff. So,
Bernie Lomax, he wasn't.
Yeah.
You know what? We're gonna get to it, but they should have done a Weekend at Bernie's in this movie.
Oh my God! Yes.
Somebody's gonna die. If Bronson had kept that corpse with him the rest of the movie, it would have been way better.
Bronson's Family Vacation Part 2, where he's got a corpse with a hat on next to him. Yeah. This is my friend.
So we go to this. All right. Basically, they're like, they got Max.
Yeah, the ambassador, the American ambassador, somehow figured out that it was Max, and they go, okay, doctor tells them to go pick up Max. Cut to Max being tortured, and they find out Bronson has the doctor's sister,
yeah,
and he's held at
and he knows
this
what
place.
the house, yeah. Okay, so he knows the house because it's on that treasure map that Bronson got from Max. Before the phone call, we get a nice little scene where Bronson's loading his gun, and he's talking to his fake wife, and that slow guitar music comes back because we gotta get them to like each other a little bit more. And she's like, "So you live on Bronson Island?" And he's like, "Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful."
That's where we get the showering with rainwater.
Yeah, it's
all peace and magic.
He looks up longingly in the sky, and he's like, "It's a wonderful place.
Magical.
I wake up every morning, I sleep in, I eat breakfast on the beach."
They need to do an overlay of just Quasimodo for a second. Yeah. Just like what he's thinking about.
Yeah. I say hi to Quasi. I shower with rainwater.
With Quasi.
It's magic. He says it's magic.
It's magic.
Unless it's monsoon season, and then it's a real bummer on Bronson Island for a couple months out of the year.
It's dark magic.
And so then we go to, then we see Max getting all bloody and cut up. And then we go back to the villa, and Bronson brings the sister out to join him and the fake wife. And he calls the doctor, and he lets the sister talk to him. And he's got, now this is what I said, we got another Home Alone reference.
Yeah.
Is Bronson has a talk boy.
More or less, yeah.
Basically, yeah.
A prototype talk boy.
You know what? They should, Kevin McAllister was obviously getting his ideas from Bronson movies. The idea that he has a talk boy.
Should have had that in Home Alone. Instead of watching Angels with Dirty Faces, he's watching like a Bronson movie. He's just like taking notes.
Oh, great, yeah.
He could have had some lines from this movie.
But my mom and dad don't have a fire hose.
Yeah, that deleted scene in Home Alone when he shoves a fire hose up Joe Pesci's ass.
Yeah.
He's like, I saw this in Kinjite.
He's grabbing Daniel Stern by the dick. I don't know which way to twist this.
They were like, Chris Columbus has got that in the script. They're like, Chris, we can't have an 8-year-old grabbing a man's dick and breaking it. It's just, it's not going to fly for the PG rating.
He's like it's a matter of tone.
So Bronson, she's talking to the doctor, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I read at this point, I go, I wonder if he's going to use it Home Alone 2 style, that talk boy. Otherwise, I'm not sure what purpose this is serving.
Surely not.
Yeah.
Because he's like recording something.
I was wondering about that. What is the purpose?
I thought maybe it was like changing his voice.
And no,
like in real time, like some loop station.
A plot device. That's all it is.
Yeah. He's recording all of it. He's preparing for something he couldn't possibly know he was going to have to.
Yeah, you're right.
It's a liability thing.
It was like, just in case we got a Weekend at Bernie's situation, I'll get her voice on tape.
It may be important later.
Yeah. So Bronson demands money. He's like, all right, I got your sister, and I want, it's like $500,000.
He's like, I don't know.
And he says, he hangs up, and then he immediately goes, he knows we're here because he didn't ask.
Didn't ask where you were.
And then Bronson goes outside, and he sees a car driving up. He gets his gun ready, and then he puts the sister in the trunk, and he makes the fake wife drive, which is great. Is because as soon as
I'm gonna need both hands.
As soon as she starts the car, he starts criticizing her.
Hell, he puts his foot on the gas over her foot. He's like, "You better drive. I'm driving."
He's like, "Can you drive? Go left, go left!" He's like immediately screaming at her. And then they play chicken with this car. They win.
I don't get the purpose of doing that.
No, neither do I.
That didn't seem to do anything because then they just kind of slowly turn around and let them chase them.
Yeah, they play chicken, and then she like hit a tree.
Yeah.
And then they do a U-turn, so she still lost chicken.
Bronson's yelling at her for driving bad.
She's driving horribly.
She's terrified.
Do you think Bronson wanted to break the fourth wall at any point? He goes, "See what I mean? Eh? You let it get behind the wheel.
First let them vote, then you let them drive."
I wanted a camera in the trunk, just watching the body bounce on the rough road.
Like,
Hi, I'm the doctor's sister. Welcome to Jackass.
So while they're driving, Bronson shoots the back of the window out with the shotgun.
That's what the shotgun was for all this time. In case I have to blow out a back windshield.
And he starts firing at them with the handgun. So the shotgun just was to blow out the back window, but then he switches to a handgun.
As we have discovered, it's not going to go very far with it sawed off like that.
And he shoots a guy, but then they stop to drop him off. Which
hand him a lunch bag.
Can I get out of here? And then we stop the chase entirely because there's cows in the road. So let's just pause the movie for a minute while we get these out of the road. Okay, chase back on. Bronson kills another guy as he falls out the window, and then
It looked like he jumped. I know he's supposed to have fallen. But the way that looked, it's like the guy got shot and was like, "Well, I'm out. Yeah. See you guys later. Good luck."
And then somehow, I don't even know what happens. Like the bad guy's car
explodes.
Yeah, they hit like rough terrain. Did he drive them across a minefield?
Yeah, because all we see is the car just goes down a dirt road. Bronson hits a few rocks. And then the bad guy's car explodes immediately. Mm-hmm. All on some, as I put, Bandito farmer's farm.
Yeah.
Because, so the bad guy's car explodes. This is great, though. Bronson gets out of the car, and he opens the trunk. In his face, he goes, uh-oh. Yeah. Oh, no.
Like, how do we think she died in there? Besides gunshots, I'm saying, or the she's like snapped her neck from the bouncing around.
It had to be that.
Here's the thing: is she only had a little dribble of blood on her forehead?
Yeah.
And I was like, wait.
It looked like there were some bullet holes on the sides of the trunk.
Yeah, but there's no bullet hole on her.
There are no like entrance wounds. I didn't see.
It had to just be her bouncing around.
Yeah. Apparently the neck
neck snap from like hitting the head against the trunk or something like that. Oh, this is a pleasant movie. Oh, I just feel so good after watching this.
I was like, that doctor's gonna be real mad.
That was Bronson's face. Oh, he's gonna be so pissed at me.
But this is what I'm saying. They should have done a Weekend at Bernie's
at the end. Yeah,
like Bronson should have used this lady as a puppet.
No, she's fine.
Like he's got her around his shoulder, you know.
Didn't he end up like burying her?
Okay, that's what I was gonna say. All right, we'll get to that.
Okay,
but I think he should have brought her around. He could have waved her hand, put his hand in her sleeve and waved it like I'm right here.
She's gonna wave a scarf. That's how you know she's fine. Rihanna, get the scarf.
I would have liked it too if Bronson did her voice. Yes, I'm right here.
Yeah.
Yes, of course I'm your sister.
It's me. And so this Bandito farmer comes out and he holds Bronson and the fake wife up at gunpoint like, what the hell is going on?
And that makes sense.
And then Bronson says, he goes like, hey, can you talk to this guy in Spanish?
Because I can only read lips.
And then basically Bronson goes, hey, tell him I'll buy his truck. And he buys the truck from the guy. And they're like, oh, you're going to give us money for that piece of shit? Great. Then we got to watch them unload pigs from the back of it.
I was a little uncomfortable, too.
Yeah.
Could you be a little less rough on these animals, please?
Wouldn't it be great, though, if Bronson was like, no, the pigs are included.
Count that money again. You think?
But this is where it is, Hughes, where he says, after he buys that truck, he goes, let's find a place to bury the woman.
Why?
I don't.
Why does she? Why just leave her in the trunk if you're gonna do that?
He should have like bargained for the woman too, like, and we'll throw in a woman.
You want a body? It's something to feed to the pigs.
Is it because he didn't mean to kill her? Like there's a different level of honor there. Or
I don't.
Just like
I don't know.
That one's not supposed to happen.
I was like, Bronson has left a sea of corpses in his wake as he's just shot his way through Guatemala, but this time he's like, well. Let's give her a proper burial. She wasn't asking for it. That was on me. Bronson and the fake wife drive off in that truck. Obviously, they did not look at the Consumer Reports, as we'll get to.
No Carfax here.
But instead, we're going to see a plane landing. Something is happening. And then some man we've never met. And we're in the last 20 minutes of this movie. And we're going to get a new character.
Those are the best characters.
Just because we need some more dead meat. This guy just shows up and he's good friends with the U.S. guy.
Yeah, and this conversation also confuses me because they're talking about, they think it's a terrorist that stole the sister and wants money. So how did they get to Max? God damn it! There's Bronson. They don't know.
They have no
idea. How did they go?
I
to
don't know.
Max?
There's a scene missing. There has to be something. Like maybe they were looking at the video camera and they got Max's license plate number or something.
It had to have been something like that.
And somehow Bronson knew?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. So Bronson learns his truck. Okay, this is what I write. Bronson learns his truck is a real lemon because about 5 miles from that house, he's like, oh, this thing's not going to make it. And they just pull over, and I guess they're going to camp for the night. Well, the guys briefly go to that farm, and they're like looking at all the dead bodies and the cars and everything. And then they're like, oh, we're going to go to this small town and catch him because that's where he could be going. I don't know why they know this, but they do, apparently. But then we go to Bronson and the fake wife are just sort of hanging out in the dirt. And Bronson's eating some sort of backpack burrito.
Yeah, and he offers it to her.
He's like, no. Yeah, you want something to eat?
He makes some comment about it being really spicy too. I don't like it's something he's not used to. I can't remember what the wording of that was. I wish I'd written that down.
Caliente, caliente.
And the fake wife, I think she's had enough of hanging out with Bronson at this point. She's like, can I please go home?
He's like, you said you wanted to see. Like, you can't turn back now.
Yeah,
she's like, we are sitting on a rock eating a taquito. This is not...
He's like, there's nowhere else you could go. You're in it. You're in too deep now. Also, eat this burrito. And basically forces her to eat it. And they just kind of smile at each other. And he's like, see, isn't that nice? Like, we're a real family.
Oh, God,
Like I said, this movie is just a long con for Bronson to get himself a new wife.
Yeah.
Because pickings are slim on Bronson Island. And he's like, whoa, maybe I can work this to my advantage. So we go to later. They're sleeping in the truck bed. So they've been here a long time.
I'm going to look at the stars.
Yeah, they're just looking at the
burrito
stars.
I found.
And they have some stupid moment together where she's like, you talk in your sleep. And he's like, really? What do I say?
Not going to tell you.
And she's like,
Next morning.
I didn't know there'd be a follow-up question.
It's not in the script. I don't know. So we go to a funeral, right? That's the next thing we see. As
Go to a funeral.
And, okay, now if anybody here has seen Messenger of Death, which is a real deep-cut Bronson movie, we will not do it on this show because it's not a great movie. You know if Bronson's at a funeral, it's dangerous. Because in that movie, he shows up to a funeral at one point, and he has a shotgun with him, and he just starts blasting open a casket.
Whoa.
While they're trying to bury somebody, and he just walks up and he just goes bah 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 and shoots up this casket, and then he goes, it's all right, nobody's in it. And it's like, wow, you're lucky. Could you imagine if he walked up, he's like, oops, sorry, wrong funeral.
He's a hell of a magician. As you can see, the box is empty.
That would have been a great David Copperfield special. It's Bronson and Copperfield rolling that shit.
Copperfield goes in the box, Bronson shoots it with a shotgun, and then opens it up, and he's gone.
Yeah.
So they go to this funeral, and apparently there's like these people were victims of the doctor, and Bronson just so happens to meet a man who owns a cafe, right?
The only man in town with a cafe and a phone.
Yeah.
That's how we found that out, yeah.
So they go into that cafe, and the U.S. guy and his henchman man are watching. And this part is great. So Bronson goes in there and he's like, get me a beer. And the guy brings him out a beer. And then the U.S. guy and his henchmen come in and they're like, yeah, we want beers too.
Cervezas.
Yeah, cerveza, please.
And like, oh, the place is closed. No, you're not closed.
Yeah, this guy's here. And so then the guy gets his beer. And apparently this is the first one he's ever had. Is he goes to sip it.
He
and
botches
then
this.
He just fucking spits it everywhere, and the beer's overflowing. He's like, it's warm, it's warm.
Like, wouldn't you know it's warm when you felt it in your hand?
You're right.
Like, come on.
I never thought of that.
I didn't see this coming. Fuck.
And that's where we get caliente.
Yeah.
But I love this as Bronson goes, hey, don't be mean to my new friend.
No, it's like, you're in my friend's house and you will show respect.
Yeah.
Wow. Am I the friend he's had for like 10 minutes that he's demanded things from?
Take off your goddamn shoes.
And so then we get in a whole negotiation about how much money it's going to take to get the sister back, which I like. They're like, all right, we know you got the girl. How much is it going to take? And Bronson's like, well, they want to be a property owner.
He's like, I thought about a Mercedes.
You want me to rent?
Yeah.
That was my best. That was the best part.
Yeah, because he's asking for all sorts of money. He's like, yeah, I want a Mercedes, and I got my eye on this salon in Beverly Hills. And then he's like, he basically gets tired, and he just stands up from the table and just starts blasting him with the shotgun.
Yeah, he knows the goon, because the last thing he says before he stands is, "You're too smart for the job, Canel." And the guy's like, "Oh."
And he shoots him once, right? But then the guy pops up, shoots him again right in the face. And Bronson goes, he was wearing a bulletproof vest.
And to his new friend, the cafe owner, who now has to mop this up.
Yeah, that's what I said. Because
see that?
The guy walks out and he's like, oh my God.
You said you wanted to use the phone.
Do you think Bronson was like, well, we were friends. Have fun. Here's my card. I'll pay for any damages.
Friend, I need a favor. Here's a shovel and a broom.
Do you think that he helped him clean it up, or he just was
No.
like,
Absolutely not.
That is not his job.
I think he was Bronson about it.
So the fake wife also comes in, and she's very upset about this whole thing. Because, again, every time she leaves, Bronson's killing somebody. You realize that? She's never in the same room. She's always like, every time I leave you for 5 minutes, there's blood all over the place. So then Bronson gets on the phone with the doctor, and he's like, all right, this time you bring yourself, all right? We're going to meet at this abandoned mine. I don't know if it's anywhere close to you, but meet me there in like 10 minutes. So they just wander off, right? And they're at this mine.
The opal mines, yeah.
I just put, there's some sort of rock mine.
They mentioned that it's opal.
Okay, opal. And I wrote, this is a lot like Temple of Doom.
Yeah, it is.
Like, because there's all these, like, village people with, like, legs missing and arms missing, and we're going to meet one man with half his face.
Yeah,
Guatemalan Two-Face? That dude's awesome.
Yeah.
Was that makeup, or do you think that was...
That looked like barnacles.
It looked crazy.
I think he's supposed to be burned.
Like
that was
Davy
the
Jones,
idea, right?
kind of, yeah.
I have no idea,
He
but
looked like a clicker from The Last of Us.
Yeah.
I wanted
For
somebody
you gamers out there.
I wanted somebody to come out and say, Kalima, Kalima.
No time for love, Dr. Bronson.
Now, this is what I also wrote. How great would this movie have been if Bronson had a short round with him?
Amazing.
Bronson would have ditched him like within the first 5 minutes.
And this poor short round would have witnessed so much.
So, okay, basically, they all set up the thing for the sting. The doctor comes in. He's like, where's my sister? Bronson's like, no, she's here. Trust me, she's here. And he plays that talk boy for him.
Which is only a few seconds long and is clearly looping.
Yeah.
Over and over again, yeah.
He doesn't notice, apparently.
Like, she's hitting the same notes, man.
And then they're like, hey, to create more tension, we brought that kid from an hour ago, remember? And they have the kid at gunpoint. And he's just like, oh no, that kid I cared about. This is amazing. How does this standoff end?
Oh God! Well, we're gonna play a little game of running up and down the mountain, the caves with the tape recorder playing her voice, and the chauffeur.
It's coming from everywhere.
Yeah, like it's like the echo or something like that. It's gonna somehow reverberate and it's gonna be noticeable. But the workers now kind of gathering around, like, what the fuck's going on over here?
Because they notice it's the doctor.
Yeah, they're like,
and they're
holy
like,
fuck,
oh,
it's that
El
guy.
Doctor, El Doctor.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are, as we've seen,
Yeah.
are injured in some manner. They're survivors.
And one of them is keen enough to actually get a rock on top of one of the hills.
Yeah.
And throw it on his head and distracts the driver.
So, the driver is holding the kid with a gun.
We got a Guatemalan standoff.
And some guy throws a rock and it hits the driver.
Like,
I'm like,
perfect.
okay.
It should have hit the kid.
Yeah, that was bad.
The speed method, take out the hostage.
Like literally a millimeter to the right, this kid would have been dead. And somehow
Skull caved in.
Home Alone 2.
Yeah.
Basically, it ends with that driver dying. The kid runs back.
Well, yeah, Bronson shoots him in the head.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Just the distraction of the guy, like, did someone hit me with a rock? And then...
Bam, lights out.
And then all these workers go, Kalima, Kalima.
I was hoping that right before they all closed in, the clearly the leader, the Guatemalan Two-Face, would flip a Quetzal in his hand and be like, yep.
Yeah.
But it's a very like Dawn of the Dead scene of the doctor in this limo,
and they've all got little picks.
Yeah, and they all kind of just pick their way in and then pick him to death.
He gets chipped.
Gets chipped to death. And that's it. They just kind of walk away. Bronson and his fake wife and his new family walk away.
Back to the Cayman Islands.
Yeah, we have that. The music switches to like a completely different movie. Now we're getting Bronson's family vacation on his island.
Yeah, we're back at Bronson
They're
Island.
hanging out with Quasimodo.
Yeah, they are hanging out with Quasimodo because the last scene you see in this movie, it freeze frames on Bronson pointing to the water like, here he is.
There's my man right there.
Star of the show.
And then almost like they just ran out of film, the movie ends.
Yeah.
Real abrupt.
That was at 7 hours and 58 minutes, so they had to stop it. And that walk.
Yeah, Bronson's like, and I'm wrapped.
He literally just like drops the kid and walks off the beach.
Takes the dolphin with him.
So I was right, by the way. It was all a long con. Bronson just got that new family of his. He's like, I've always wanted a wife. I didn't really want a child, but okay, I'll take it.
Take the bad with the good.
I was kind of hoping they'd get that child at some point. But, you know, what are you going to do?
The bastard with the rock.
She can play with Quasi. Randall, you were the one who selected it out of the 3 I gave you.
Yeah, talk to us about it.
What is your recommendation? Yes or no?
Oh, man. I'm going to say yes, because the couple of standout scenes, and by couple I mean that one bar scene, is worth watching. The movie's overall kind of dull and slow moving, but it's not hard to sit through. It's just kind of long. But, man, that scene was fantastic.
This is like a good, I'd say like a Sunday afternoon
Yeah,
movie.
exactly.
A hangover film?
Yeah, like a hangover movie, or you don't want to get off the couch and you're like, I could watch something, I could fall asleep during it, and wake up and not lose a single thing. Like you kind of drift in halfway through and you're like, I get it.
Yeah.
Hughes?
No. Do not watch this movie. No. You got the trailer. That's the whole movie. You want to see one part. That's when the guy gets his penis broken. That's on YouTube. So you watch the trailer, you watch that YouTube clip, and you saved yourself an hour and a half.
Yeah. It's marginally better than Kinjite in terms of...
Oh, I think Kinjite is a better movie.
You think so?
Yeah.
How can I say in pacing, though? It's better.
Pacing, I'd say Kinjite is more exciting.
I guess I'm just a sucker for the dolphin.
No. I was so happy for that dolphin. I wish it was in there more.
Yeah.
I was hoping he'd save the day at the end.
Bobby, what say you?
Yeah, I think I'm kind of in the same boat as Hughes on that, or as like, watch the trailer, look up the dick clip, and
I'd give it a very, very soft recommend.
Yeah.
I'd say, yeah, it's if you like Bronson movies and you're a Bronson completionist, like we all will be.
Yes.
Yeah, you gotta watch it. Randall, you have anything else to add about this movie before we might invite a few more friends into this podcast?
Can we get like 18 more people here?
This is gonna turn into We Are the World. We're all just in a sound booth together.
I will say, oh God, this is such a weird thing to say. I was slightly not disappointed, but surprised after hearing your guys' review of or your discussion on Kinjite at the lack of racism. I suppose this is a good thing. It's a good thing.
Yeah, it is the least racist Bronson movie I've seen.
It's the least racist movie we've reviewed in a while.
Well, that's true.
That's probably
other than Messenger of Death. That movie is that's the weirdest one, is because we're supposed to believe that Bronson is a newspaper reporter, which is a character he should never play.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I'm from the paper. Everybody's like, yeah, but I do like a gun. I'm a reporter with a gun.
I feel like that's how you could tell his heart wasn't really in this. Because it wasn't as racist. He kind of phoned it in. It was kind of acceptable.
It's like, because Messenger of Death, he's hanging out with a bunch of Mormons. It's these 2 Mormon families in Colorado, and they're killing each other. And Charles Bronson is somehow some newspaper reporter that gets caught in the middle of it. It's the worst.
Is that where we got
movie.
the title? Like he's going door to door with the message.
No,
the message of death.
No, actually, I don't know why it's called Messenger of Death, but maybe that is. But it also ends just as weird as this movie does. Is Bronson like kills
pointing at a dolphin?
Well, Bronson kills a man in the middle of a socialite party.
What?
He like shoots a man in the kneecap in the middle of a big party and then kills him and walks out, and it just freeze frames ends.
Wow.
It's a very it's a weird one.
Like a Ms. 45 situation. Everyone's having a party and it just ends in a shooting.
So you're right, Randall. Very not racist for a Bronson movie. Hughes was very disappointed in that aspect. You wanted something to be offended by.
Yeah, I just, it's been a theme for a couple of weeks now.
Well, good. We're finally out
of...
of...
you've broken the theme.
Yeah, we're out of that horrible racist bent that we've been in, the alt-bin episodes that we've had to alt-bin sit here and deal with. So. So do you guys all hear that sound?
My Uber is here.
Everybody knows the drill by this point.
Yeah. If you
Randall,
don't, fuck off.
You're the guest. Let us know. How do you think Bobby and DeVito somehow, because boy, I didn't think about this one, somehow fit into, what's this movie? The Evil That Men Do.
Whatever the hell this is we just watched.
All right, so I've been mulling this over like the whole episode. Here's what I got. So I think the doctor, before he left the States the first time, I think he come across this ginger kid in a van, and he's seen something of himself in this kid. And he talked this ginger kid into setting up a sort of mobile torture dungeon, complete with the electrified waterbed. You know, because there's a toaster in there. And yep, that's it. That's what I got.
The Straight Arrow is a mobile torture van. I like that one. I wouldn't have went down there. Do you feel like at any point Bobby and DeVito could have been victims of the doctor? Like maybe they thought that sanitarium was a different type of house? Not a hospital, but a whorehouse.
Like when Bronson was looking at the videotape, suddenly there's this guy with big orange poof. He's all teary-eyed.
Bobby's on the tape. And then he took me.
He took DeVito into the other room.
I just asked him if he liked joints and studs, and
They held both of our testicles together.
And he popped the waterbed.
That was the worst part.
Could you imagine if the doctor, so he's forced out of this area, you know, like he didn't die, right?
Yeah.
But he's forced out of Guatemala, and he somehow sets up shop, Randall, with that mobile straight arrow torture van. And they're just going around whatever the next South American country they're in, Brazil. Just going around, torturing people mobily, getting them quick with that waterbed.
Merciful death with that waterbed. Merciful.
Imagine the executioner's hood pulling off and the orange hair.
And you just hear a lot of, like, everybody has these legends, these local legends. You know, like they have like chupacabras and stuff. They're like, it's the sound. In the middle of the night, you'll hear the sound. It sounds like da 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 da. It just causes shudders in town. Like they hear the straight arrow and everybody's locking doors. Well, thank you everybody for joining us. A 5-person grind bin. Randall, thank you for joining us on another episode of The Bin. Why don't you tell everybody about your podcast, Randall?
Yeah, hey, I do. Yeah, hey. All right, let's fuck this up even more. The Grolix Podcast. That's where you can hear me at grolixpodcast.com. We talk comic books, and lately we've been mixing in a lot more. We've kind of been alternating between comic books and TV and movies, stuff like that. So, Grolix, that's GRAWLIX podcast.com. We're also on Twitter under that. You can find us about anywhere if you type that in.
And it's twice a month.
Twice a month now. No more of this monthly. Had to up our game.
And Randall, you know, everybody else will know you from the 47th episode, which is the episode we always reference in this show, The Van, where we went back and rediscovered our first movie, and they can hear you plug the Grolix podcast in every episode.
The Good Van episode.
The Van.
Whoa, shots fired.
What the hell?
The Vaniversary. Well,
tell me I'm wrong.
Well, Randall's going to say it's the good one. He's in it.
Yep.
He's like, yeah, listen to that one.
Listen to that one. Yeah, for sure.
lightning struck twice, Hughes, all right?
What you don't know, Randall, is I've just put you into the first episode. I've just intercut random comments of you in our first podcast. It doesn't make any sense. There's no references at all. You'll just hear Randall's voice coming in and out.
That's all right. Some episodes, maybe like tonight, I'm sporadic enough, people won't know the difference.
I know. Well, you're on, East Coast time?
I'm Central, so it's not too far off, but yeah, it's 2 hours later here.
Still pretty late,
where
though.
you're at.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Well, we can wrap this one up. And oh, wait, Hughes, you got anything to plug?
Yeah, I still do my charity stream every Tuesday and Wednesday on Obsidian's channel on Twitch. So it's twitch.tv/Obsidian. It is a charity where we generate money from donations from viewers, where we then give it to children's hospitals. This one will be the Children's Hospital of Orange County, which is our local children's hospital.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, Leftover Crack. We will be playing Punk Rock Bowling, Asbury Park, June 11th with no effects.
Nice.
Yeah.
I see you got your Twitter account back.
Yeah, I'm going to get that refunded.
Refunded?
Yeah, they have a user agreement where you can, if it's within 14 days, you can cancel it and you get your money back.
Wait.
What are you talking about? Your
you
Twitter?
Paid for a Twitter?
No, my Twitter, when the guy in France tried to hack me.
Yeah.
And I lost... What happened was
You had to pay to get it
Well, no, the email that I had tied to it, they shut down, and it was free for the time.
Well, it wasn't shut down. You just didn't want to pay the $5 or whatever it was.
No, they did shut it down for everybody.
Oh, okay.
But you had to pay like $40 a year to use it again.
Jesus.
Another company bought it out. So I'm like, oh shit. Well, I had some other stuff I want to get out there, I guess. I don't know. So I went in there just to make sure, and I looked at the user agreement. Sure enough, within 14 days, you can get your refunded back. And
yeah, there you go.
So yeah, happy.
This is very entertaining for the end of Grindbin,
Yeah.
hearing about Chris getting a receipt.
He's no longer angry at France.
Yeah.
Bobby, do you have anything to plug?
Oh, I have got nothing.
Well, as this podcast, we have something to plug. I keep forgetting to mention this. We're part of this VHS Battle League, where we have to go find some sort of VHS tape. So, Bobby, I don't know if you're interested in that, but we have to find the most random VHS tape we can.
I got you covered.
Oh, really?
It's called a Wrinkle Wason.
I do have training videos from Roundtable.
Rumple Foreskin?
Oh, wow. Rumple Foreskin. Well, I'll give you all the parameters, because there's a scoring system involved.
Okay.
But I believe it's VHSBattleLeague.com. You can go and check it out. There's a bunch of podcasts involved, as well as giving a shout out and playing an ad for a podcast that's very kind to us, which is Cinema Bushido. I'm going to be playing an advertisement for them at the end of this podcast, because they're going to play one that I send to them.
Nice.
So go and check them out. And of course, check out the Grolix podcast. And you guys have a Patreon as well, right?
We do.
Randall?
Patreon.com/Grolix podcast. For $1, you can get pretty much all the exclusive stuff we offer in there. $1 a month.
For $1, you can fuck.
But you know how it is. You ask people to pay $1, and they're like, fuck you, no!
We're currently making
You
$1
serve me an enemy for life.
a month. Wait, nope, 95 cents, because Patreon's got to get their cut.
And they'll still send you that $10.99 at the end of the year.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
All right, so anybody got anything else? Oh, rate and review us on iTunes.
Yeah.
Subscribe. And I should mention this.
Yeah.
We're going to cut out so much at the end of this episode. Somebody, I believe it's our friend from Australia, sent me production photos of the van. Chris, you haven't seen them yet.
No.
Why don't you just grab those over there? These came to me in the mail from some insane person I've never heard of. Just randomly on my doorstep today we have multiple production photos from the van.
Incredible.
It's amazing.
And they put my name as Mikey Woods on the on the address label. And Bobby, you said that I've opened somebody else's mail, so
I'm pretty certain you are
I'm
not
looking at
Mikey
these
Woods.
now, and these need to be framed in UV,
Oh, they will be framed.
Yes.
UV protective glass, Mike. These are priceless.
and I
artifacts.
will be putting those up on the website, the Twitter, the Facebook, all that stuff, so everybody
Wow.
can see.
Yeah,
And
whoever did that, that is-
somebody will have to claim it. There is somebody else that's sending me stuff, so
My
I don't know
God.
if it's from them or him, but
What kind of stuff are you being sent? Did you get a bag of human hair?
people send us stuff, and I'm
So
stupid
cool.
enough to give out my actual address.
Yeah, how about P.O. Box?
Yeah, that's how I ended up on this show.
We leave the door unlocked for everyone wondering.
I was like, that Mikey Woods left his door unlocked.
I will not be in this. I will not be in this location much longer, so it doesn't matter. Whoever is going to live here after me, watch out. As I'd like to say one more time, head in the shitter, shit in the shower type scenario.
Man, if we make a t-shirt. Bobby, get the electrodes.
Hey, Bobby, I got the money.
Yeah, I made the team. But you're a hooker.
Get that goddamn thing out of your mouth.
Spooky got no real poetry.
Hello,